In the deepest roots of the face, you'll find spiritual tradition in the most veiled of antiquity and in the hidden esoteric wisdom between the lines. For centuries, the same teaching has been that the human mind is not merely a receiver of realities, but a constant creator and implacable. This power has been protected by the same exalted and feared for time, in remote temples, guarded by initiated people, and whispered in parables, destined only to those prepared to understand their true meaning. Such powerful knowledge and uncomfortable challenges, passivity and invitations to face the awkward responsibility of being the architect of your own existence are all part of life. Popular culture has made the power of thought seem trivial by reducing it to simple techniques of autosuggestion or passenger motivation, but there's a deeper truth waiting to be rediscovered by those who dare to look beyond the surface. This book seeks precisely to rescue that lost essence by returning to the original sources. It's so wonderful to see each other again. I'm reminded of the incredible potential of our minds to understand the world around us. In the Gnostic Gospel of Thomas, it's beautifully said that what we can't see in our minds is actually the foundation of everything. When you're searching for something, you're already on the path to finding it. This idea is present in many different traditions, from the ancient Egyptian Hermeticism to the deep Vedanta Enneads. Their wise words of so many different cultures and spiritual traditions have so much to offer us. Teachers, ancient spirituals are not just instruction for internal awakening. They are mirrors in which you can see your own essence. Hermes's wisdom in the Emerald Table reminds us that what is above is like what is down, and what is inside is a reflection of what is out. This Hermetic principle is an instruction practice for anyone who wants to transform their existence. It's all about the essence of your being. Appropriate, this wisdom is for those who are ready to open their hearts and minds. It asks you to trust the process and be willing to go beyond what you thought you knew. It will lead you to a place of understanding that shows you the limits of what you thought were your limits. This wisdom is so important, and it's not something you can just learn in a few chapters. It's something that will reveal itself to you little by little, as you open your heart and mind to it. It's like stepping through a door into a world of hidden treasures. This chapter is like a door that opens to new dimensions of knowledge. It's not just about repeating what you've already seen in other books on the mind's power. It's about delving deeper, exploring the hidden connections between your creativity and the mysterious forces that shape our world. This chapter is like a door that opens to a world of new possibilities. It's not just about repeating what we've seen before in other books on the mind's creative power. Instead, it gently guides us into the hidden realms of our mind, where hidden forces play a crucial role in shaping our experiences. As we dive deeper into this topic, we'll also explore how different cultures, from the ancient Hindu Upanishads to the Renaissance Hermetic writings, have understood and applied these principles. Each section will unveil a new facet of this universal truth, like stepping through a series of windows into a world of discovery. It's important to remember that these vital circumstances are always at play, even if they're not always easy to see. We'll also be taking a look at how different cultures, from the ancient Hindu Upanishads to the Renaissance Hermetic writings, have understood and applied these principles. The universal will not be repeated in previous chapters, but each section will offer a new perspective on how to contemplate the unlimited potential of humans. This book doesn't seek to convince you with simple theories or magic formulas. It reveals chapter after chapter the most subtle keys and deep that allow for a radical transformation of the human experience through the conscious use of thought. Your task, dear reader, is to accompany this exploration with openness, mental and intellectual. This book is all about the amazing potential of the human mind. It doesn't just give you simple theories or magic tricks. Instead, it gently guides you through the most subtle and profound secrets that can transform your life. It's a journey of discovery, where you'll learn to think in new ways and question the things you thought you knew. Each chapter ends with a thought-provoking reflection or a question that will take you deeper into yourself. By the end, you'll have a new perspective on life and a fresh understanding of the world around you. We're so excited to share this journey with you, and we're here to support you every step of the way. Each chapter will wrap up with a thought-provoking reflection or a question that will guide you to a deeper level of introspection, leading to a revelatory insight or a thought-provoking question that can transform the way you see reality. The true power of the mind doesn't lie in controlling the outside world, it lies in achieving the most meaningful and valuable victory of all, deep and authentic self-knowledge. We're here to help you tap into the great secret of energy, frequency, intention, and published reality through the power of your subconscious mind. All rights reserved. We've noticed that more than 90% of you are not subscribed to our channel. If you could please press the subscribe button and give this video a like, we'd really appreciate it. It'd mean a lot to us, and it'd help us create more and better content for you. You're ready to transform your life. There's an ancient power and omnipresent presence that permeates each atom of the universe. The universe is a wonderful, ever-present force that knows no time limits or boundaries. This gentle, sometimes hidden energy is always there, working quietly behind the scenes to create and sustain life. It's fascinating how it has been recognized by wise and mystical people since ancient times. Whether it's in the ancient texts of Babylon or the quiet contemplation of the Tibetan monks, or even in the hidden libraries of Egypt, this energy is all around us. Have you ever had that feeling when you're out walking and suddenly you notice the most beautiful sunset you've ever seen? Or when you're at a concert and you feel the energy from the music? Well, there's this idea that says the universe is responding to our thoughts and feelings. It's like we're connected to this infinite power that can help us create whatever we want. Even in old Babylonian tablets, they talk about this idea. They say that even though we can't see these invisible forces, they are there and they are helping us. The ancient Egyptians believed that the universe is influenced by our thoughts and actions, and that this influence can be harnessed for positive purposes. They saw this energy as something akin to a divine force that keeps everything in harmony. This concept was deeply cherished by the initiates of the Memphis Temple, who guarded it with utmost secrecy. They believed that the secrets of this energy could be found in the ancient texts of the Corpus Hermeticum, which were believed to be imbued with the wisdom of the divine. The ancient Egyptian priests who were initiated in the sacred chambers of the Memphis Temple spoke of a universal energy that was akin to the divine goddess of harmony, the one who maintained the delicate balance and perfection of the universe. This secret was meticulously guarded by successive generations of initiated priests, who diligently protected the sacred texts of the Corpus Hermeticum, their pages imbued with the profound wisdom of Hermeticism. The Egyptian priests gently remind us that everything in this world is infused with divine power. Those who understand this truth have the ability to transform the invisible into the visible and the intangible into tangible, palpable things. Their words are discreet yet forceful, reserved only for those who are truly prepared to receive them. This profound knowledge was not openly shared with the masses, but rather, it was meticulously guarded by brotherhoods and kept secret from the former priests. Egyptians and Celtic Druids, as well as the Templar and Rosicrucian orders, have been quietly sharing the secret to accessing the creative power of the universal energy. They've kept this truth hidden not for misinded, but because they understood the potential dangers of supreme knowledge falling into the wrong hands. One mystic, Louis Claude Saint Martin, also known as the unknown philosopher, wrote about this in French. "We're all in this together, and we've got some help from above. But you've got to be ready to see it." This idea shows up in all sorts of different traditions, even though it might not seem like they have much in common. Some folks, like the Upanishads, which are a type of Vedic text, are more well known in the West. They suggest that there's this thing called Brahman, which is like the ultimate reality, always present, and has all the power. There's something really special about the perpetual cosmic tides and cycles. They're like the heart and soul of our traditions, especially the Druidic ones that are tucked away in the Celtic islands. The idea is that if we align our conscious minds with the universal current, it can transform our lives. This ability is what sets us apart, making us unique. At the beginning of the profane, this power is universal, but it's always there, waiting for us to tap into it. The ever-changing tides and cycles of the cosmos are like the threads of a tapestry, each one unique and vital. In the ancient manuscripts of the Celtic Isles, there's a beautiful tradition that speaks of aligning our minds with the grand flow of the universe. It's a secret that can transform our lives, giving us the power to shape our own destiny. At first, this energy might feel like an underground current, hidden beneath the surface of our everyday perceptions. But for those who develop their internal vision, who can see beyond the fog of thought created by materialist illusions, it's there, tangible and real. By embracing this energy, we can infuse our lives with a deeper sense of purpose and meaning. It's a subtle way of honoring the suffering tradition, describing the universe as a delicate tissue of vibrations all connected. It's like an underground current, flowing beneath the surface of what we perceive. Those who develop their internal vision can see through the fog of thought, which is influenced by materialist illusions. By handling it, they affirm the tradition that describes the universe as a tissue of vibrations interconnected. Existence is a veil of energy. Those who cross this veil discover the ultimate reality and moderate their own destiny from the substance of their thoughts. Secret societies have guarded these truths. They understand what releasing this energy implies, assuming a great responsibility. From the ancient Essenes to the Pythagorean circles, the custodians of the hidden knowledge. Existence is like a veil of energy. When you cross over into the other side, you can discover the ultimate reality and take charge of your destiny. Secret societies have kept these truths safe. They understand what happens when you let go of this energy. It's like taking on a big responsibility. From the ancient Essenes to the Pythagorean circles, the people who guarded these secrets always said that you have to have a pure heart to use the creative force of the cosmos the right way. The French alchemist and occultist Falconelli said that the universal force only responds to those who are willing to let go of selfishness. He said that those who seek power without purity will be destroyed, but those who do it with humility can achieve the supreme mystery. This secret knowledge has been It's always been said that to use the creative force of the cosmos with words, you need an unblemished heart. The French alchemist and occultist Falconelli said that the universal force responds only to those willing to give up selfishness. He said that those who seek power without purity attract destruction, while those who do it from humility achieve the supreme mystery. This secret knowledge has been deliberately masked and presented under symbols, parables, and simple-sounding ideas to appeal to the curious and superficial. However, its essence remains intact for those who dare to go beyond the letter and enter the internal territory of consciousness, where they can claim divine power that awaits recognition and activation. For millennia, this law has been understood by those in the East. The universe is like water, which is soft and can move through anything. It can go through rocks and change mountains. This idea is in a part of the taught teaching that not many people know about. It shows that energy can change everything when it is used the right way. In the West, medieval alchemists protected the texts that talked about this. Esoteric symbols are like a secret language, a way of talking about the most basic energy in the universe. It's like the hidden magic of Mercury, the element that's always there, but you have to know how to see it. Falconelli reminds us that the real work is inside, not outside. If you understand that the true material is inside, you can really transform every tradition. Esoteric symbols are like little windows into this incredible teaching about primary energy. They're like the secret Mercury, the element that's invisible but understood and applied, which converts the internal idea to the external. Falconelli reminds us that the great work is all about the inside, not the outside. When you understand that the real raw material is within yourself, you can truly transform each tradition and society. They've kept this ancestral secret hidden and revealed at the same time, keeping their purity for those who are willing to seriously question reality, conventional ideas, and immerse deeply in your own mystery. Because, who understands the essence of the universe also understands his role as the CEO, creator of existence. And here's the fundamental question: society has hidden and revealed this ancestral secret at the same time. It's kept its purity for those who are willing to seriously investigate reality, question it, and immerse themselves deeply in their own mystery. Those who understand the essence of the universe also understand their role as the CEO, creator of existence. This chapter invites us to explore more depth and rigor. What would happen if human beings could connect with this omnipresent and eternal energy? What if they could do it consciously? And not from the domain of the external world, but from a direct communion with that force that underlies all reality. This chapter invites us to dive deeper and delve more deeply into the material. What if we could tap into this omnipresent and eternal energy that's always there, not from the external world, but from a direct connection with that force that underlies all reality? These questions are important because they help us face the true challenge of our time, moving from mere theory to a conscious and real experience of power. This essential power lies at the core of our being. So, it's not enough to just recognize the existence of this energy. The real transformation happens when we fully embrace its continuous presence, and humanity assumes full power and responsibility. Questions are a great way to start thinking about some of the big ideas that we're dealing with today. It's about taking that first step from just thinking about something to actually experiencing it in real life. It's not enough to just know that this energy exists. What really matters is putting it into practice. When we fully embrace this energy, we become the creators of our own reality. It's like the ancient secrets that were shared in the quiet of sacred temples. Those who understood the power of energy were able to take control of their own destiny. The universe is filled with possibilities, and we have the power to shape ourselves and our world. We are all here to become conscious creators of our reality. The initiated of ancient times whispered in the loneliness of their secret temples, and they mastered the knowledge of universal energy. This energy is the highest power in the universe, and it gives us the ability to recreate ourselves from the very essence of our being. Chapter 2, Thought as Strength. Creative since ancient times, when the first words had not yet taken form and ideas existed only as silent murmurs in the human heart. We consider the human heart as a radioed channel, a channel for divine energy. In the ancient Sabius reality, they argued that thinking was more than a simple intellectual act. They saw thinking as an act of creation, a conscious act. They believed that thoughts possessed the capacity inherent in germinating and deploying in realities, like a seed. Let's take a moment to consider this forgotten idea, which has been hidden under centuries of materialism and extreme rationalism. It's time to explore the incredible, untold potential of thought as a creative force, a force that can be both powerful and magical. In the last chapter, we learned that the primary current flows quietly through all things. Now, let's think about how the human mind interacts with this current. This forgotten idea, hidden under centuries of materialism and extreme rationalism, invites us to explore the potential of thought as a creative force. As we've seen in the last chapter, this current flows quietly through all things. Now, let's think about how our minds interact with this current to shape our own lives. To understand the power of thought as a creative force, let's imagine that our mind is like an obsidian mirror that reflects not only the visible, but also the invisible. It reflects what has not yet taken shape, what awaits in the unknown. Every idea, every image, is like a sparkle on its bright surface. But these sparks don't stay. Let's imagine that our mind is like an obsidian mirror, which reflects not only the visible but also the invisible. What hasn't taken shape yet, what awaits in the kingdom of odds, infinite, every idea, every image projected on its bright surface. These ideas don't just stay there. They gently and subtly enter the subtle fibers of the cosmos, shaping a future reality that sooner or later emerges in our world. This idea of the creative power of thought is not just an idealistic philosophy, it's a deep intuition, what our teachers have been saying since the time of the ancient Taoists, as written by Lu Dongvin Little. The idea that our thoughts have a powerful effect on the world around us isn't just some philosophical idea. It's a deep, intuitive truth that has been passed down through the ages by wise teachers like the ancient Taoist Lu Dongvin Little. In today's reflections, we're reminded that every thought we have is like a brushstroke on a canvas, shaping the world around us. It's like we're the artist, painting our destiny with the colors of our thoughts. These words, spoken in the solitude of a hidden cave in the Sima Mountains of Sonner, highlight an essential truth that has stood the test of time and cultures. It's a truth that we, as individuals and as a collective, are inevitably following the course that has been laid out for us. When we start to think about traditions that are a bit more esoteric, it can get a little fuzzy. We see hints of this in some of the old fragments of the Zohar or in the less well-known Gnostic texts, like Philippe's Gospel. It's like we're hearing a whisper of this truth in these texts. One part of the Gospel that really stands out is how it talks about how our mind is like an artisan of the soul. What we imagine, we create, and what we create becomes reality. In other words, when our thoughts are strong and full of intensity, they can truly make something real. It's so interesting how this creative process can really highlight what we initially thought about ourselves. It's like we need to be totally clear and in tune with ourselves to make something beautiful. If we're all mixed up inside, or if we're looking in the mirror and feeling stressed, it's hard to see things clearly. Our mind can get all muddled, and we end up with a lot of internal conflicts. But when we can really see what's going on inside, we can start to shape our reality in a way that feels right for us. It's like when you try to capture the essence of your inner world and it just doesn't quite come together the way you hoped. You end up with this experience that kind of reflects what you initially thought about your own inner world. This creative process, it's like a mirror, a reflective surface that helps you see what's going on inside. But if the mirror is a bit dirty or if you're not quite centered, it's hard to see what's going on in your mind. You end up with all these distorted images and feelings, and it's like you're trapped in a maze of your own thoughts. There's this Russian thinker and occultist, P.D. Uspensky, who's not as well known in modern literature, but he really speaks to this idea. He says that when your mind is all over the place, you end up with these fragmented worlds. But when you have a clear mind and you're focused, you can create realities that make sense. And it's like, in this clarity, there's this creative power of thought. He talks about thought as a mirror that can shape reality. This condition really helps us understand it better. It's important to remember that this essential thought shouldn't be seen as a simple reaction to the outside world. Instead, it's a living, dynamic force that actively shapes reality by aligning with the subtle laws of the universe. This internal force has the incredible power to turn the intangible into tangible possibility. An old 15th century saying beautifully captures this idea. This condition is really something special. It's not just a simple reaction to the world around us. It's a living, dynamic force that actively shapes our reality by aligning with the subtle laws of the universe. This incredible internal force can turn the intangible into tangible, possible reality. It's beautifully described in an old 15th century alchemical treatise attributed to Basilius Valentinus, an alchemist and medieval thinker. When we focus our thoughts with certainty, it's like a fire that transmutes matter into gold, both spiritually and physically. The real power of thought knows no limits. Through harmonious alignment with the essence of the universe, we have the ability to make deep, positive changes in our external and internal circumstances, not through force, but through a kind and gentle alignment with the universe's essence, as the Persian mystic Rumi beautifully says. Deep work reserved passages are things most people don't know much about. When your mind is in tune with the universe, everything responds to the melody of your thoughts. The ability to modify reality through thought is also closely related to intention. This aspect is really important, but it's often overlooked. Even in the more sophisticated intentions, desire and simple emotional aspirations aren't the same as intention. Intention is the underlying energy, clear and conscious, that mobilizes thought. It's the silent spark that ignites the flame. A Japanese wise Bushi Mori. In the world of martial arts, this concept is more commonly known than the esoteric meaning. It's described as a hidden strength within, like a hidden sword of the spirit, that when used wisely, can cut through the fabric of reality and reveal paths that might have seemed impossible. Some less well-known occultists, like Pappas, have shared beautiful insights about this silent force in their writings. But the truth is, all magic starts and ends with the intention of the operator. Without intention, there's a lack of direction and purpose, and the intention becomes scattered like the wind. So, the intention is like the secret soul of, hey, creative friend. You know how we can all tap into the power to shape and change our world. It's all in our minds. When we're awake, we understand that every moment is an opportunity to create, and every thought is like a declaration to the universe. The universe is like our teacher, showing us the truth about reality. It doesn't force its will on us, but it does show us how we're all connected. Those who create with pure intention can do anything they set their mind to. Your creative energy is always there for you, recognizing you as its rightful owner. This powerful idea can lead to some really meaningful conclusions. Our thoughts shape our reality, and our intentions are what drive that creation. But, if we neglect the world we're creating, we might not get the results we want. Creative energy is always there for you, ready to support you and your ideas. This powerful idea can help you reach closure and make positive changes in your life. Our thoughts shape our reality, and if we want to create a better world, we need to pay attention to our thoughts. When we let our mind wander, we might get caught up in conflicts, fears, and distractions. But the big question that comes to mind is, how much will we tolerate? How much time will we spend living in worlds that we haven't chosen? How will we deal with realities built by thoughts, ors, and distorted intentions? The key to creative power is, it's always been within us, waiting for us to tap into it. In Chapter 3, we explore how energy and reality have been shaped by our thoughts and intentions since ancient times. Those who understand the codes of this energy can see that existence is always changing. Chapter 3, The the manipulation of energy and reality. Since ancient times, our wise ancestors have always known that reality is like a living, breathing finger. You're always changing, never fixed. It's like a dance, a beautiful, energetic dance, and it's something that can be learned. If you understand the codes of this energy, you can shape it to your will. This isn't just some philosophical idea, it's a true teaching that's been passed down through the ages. It's like a secret code that's been whispered among those who have been chosen to know. If you think about it, thought is like a spark that ignites the creative process. And intention is like the wind that pushes that spark forward. So, energy manipulation is like art, transforming the field of possibilities in living matters. I've found that I can really understand this principle when I think about it in terms of movement. If you think about the universe as an ocean of vibrant, pure energy, you can see how everything in it responds with absolute precision to the frequency we emit. It's like how a musician refines his instrument to produce the perfect note. We humans also have the ability to align our internal vibration with subtle forces that shape our destiny. But this tuning doesn't just happen randomly or spontaneously. It responds to precise formulas and codes hidden in initiatory traditions under different names in ancient manuscripts. The Hermetic tradition, we discovered something really important: the universe is mental, but its structure is not. It's chaotic or random. But there are also beautiful patterns and harmonies of energy that we can understand and use with our full consciousness. This idea is suggested by a short part of the Corpus Hermeticum, which is not very well known. If you understand the rhythm of energy and learn to dance with it, you can stop being a slave to illusion and become the architect of your own world. This part is left out of many common translations, but it shows how important vibratory alignment is as a tool for creation and energy manipulation. It's not about having absolute control. It's all about being in tune with the universe's vibratory flow. In the old alchemy circles, they used to say that the secret to turning things into gold wasn't about forcing the elements, but about understanding their true essence and working together from within. When you want to change the world through thought, it's not about forcing your will on others, but about getting in sync with the subtle forces that govern our world. In some secret documents, occultists talk about the key triple for the energy domain: thought, emotion, and vibration. This triad is mentioned in some passages that are a little tricky to understand. The passages suggest that it's really important to make sure that our thoughts, feelings, and actions are all in harmony. A manuscript of the Fool's Alchemist, Tao, expresses this in a mysterious way. He says that if you want to turn lead into gold, you have to start with a gold heart in your mind and in your soul. Then, the metal will follow the vibration of its master. This isn't just a symbol, it's something you can actually do. People who have studied the power of thought have learned that the purest manifestation occurs when there's a strong internal vibration. Believing in something with all your heart is important. But there's more to it than just thinking or visualizing what you want. To truly feel it as your reality, you have to connect with your emotions and infuse that energy with certainty. Here's something interesting to consider, a passage from the writings of G.G.Z. the man. He believes that you want something, but your internal vibration might be rejecting it. But, and this is the cool part, if you learn to harmonize your being, you can move the invisible strings of destiny. In this beautiful convergence between emotion and vibration, we find the key to energy in some traditions. There was a lot of talk about the word live and the idea of living in a way that's beyond what we usually say. It wasn't just about saying things the right way, but about speaking from a place of true alignment, where every word had the power to change the very fabric of reality. In some secret groups during the Renaissance, he said the true magic doesn't. It's not just about repeating formulas, but about being in a state of mind where your thoughts, heart, and energy all come together. It's like a special kind of energy that you have fully understood. It's so important to remember that it's about something that goes beyond just our brains. We all have a lot of thoughts, feelings, and vibrations inside, and sometimes it's hard to get all of them in sync. If you're feeling a bit confused or uncertain, it might be helpful to remember a Persian mysticism idea from a long time ago. It says that the real fear isn't the fire itself, but the person who's afraid and is shaking when they try to put it out. It's like they are doubting the light, even though they know it's there. So, if we think about our own vibrations, we can see that everyone is always creating, either consciously or unconsciously. We're not just influencing the energy of the universe, We're also influencing its direction. We're activating codes and mobilizing forces, and we're doing it with our own frequency. When you understand this principle, you start to see the world as a reflection of your own internal harmony. You become like an Anthian who reads the winds before displaying your candles. You start in this art by observing your own vibration before trying to modify reality. In this sense, the domain of energy is not just a skill, it's a path of deep self-discovery. Knowing that each change in our awareness can directly affect our surroundings is really powerful. As we finish this chapter, let's keep this question in mind: what if reality actually responds to the vibrations of our being? What if we used all of our energy manipulation codes with full awareness? We'll wrap up this chapter by talking about how each change in our awareness directly affects the world around us. Here's a thought-provoking question for you: if reality truly responds to the vibrations of existence, what would happen if we revealed and used all the energy manipulation codes with complete awareness? Would we be ready to harness the power that this implies? Or would we be like apprentices of alchemists, trying to touch the essence of gold without understanding it, eager to manifest our desires? In the next chapter, we'll dive deeper into the world of frequency and vibration in the manifestation of reality. It's not just a matter of a quick decision or a random event, the outcome is something cosmic. Get ready to embrace the incredible power that comes with this. Otherwise, we might end up like alchemist apprentices who, without truly understanding the essence of gold, just want to touch it with their hands. Chapter 4, Frequency and Vibration in the Manifestation, the Creation of Reality. It's not just a matter of a quick thought or a random event. It's a beautiful dance between the internal vibration of a being and the energy framework of the universe, like an instrument that needs to be perfectly tuned to produce a pure note. It's essential that the body, the mind, and the spirit maintain a coherent frequency and stay stable so that the manifestation can be clear and precise. What a person holds vibrationally with consistency is what is inevitably. Dancing is like a beautiful harmonious conversation between the inside of a person and the energy of the universe. It's like a tuning fork that helps us strike the right note. When our body, mind, and spirit are in sync, we can create something truly beautiful. It's like a constant vibration that we carry with us, shaping our experiences since the beginning of time. In the past, civilizations understood this vibration language, and they knew that every thought, every emotion, and every belief had a deep impact on our existence. It's not just about wearing something and feeling a superficial desire. When we connect with the chord vibration, it's like a beautiful echo that resonates with the force of our being. Since the beginning of time, people have been working on projects that help them understand themselves and the world around them. Civilizations that understood the vibration language knew that everything in existence, from our thoughts and emotions to our deepest beliefs, is interconnected. I'm not just wearing something because I want it. If you want something, you have to go after it with intention. Otherwise, you're just going to get what you want, and that won't help you at all. That's where a lot of people get confused. They try to create a reality based on their conscious intention, but they are not aligning with the vibration that's right for them. The most esoteric texts suggest that each frequency emits a signal in the energy field, and that field responds with a resonance equivalent. Some people can be a little confused about this, but it's really quite simple. The vibration of each frequency is like a signal that the energy field responds to. There's a Persian temple that was lost, and it talks about this in a really nice way. It says that if you're looking for an oasis in the desert, you can't just wait for it to happen. You have to take action and be sure that you're getting the water you need. This is a great example of how sometimes when we want something really badly, we might not get it. The disappeared Persian temple talks about this connection with a beautiful metaphor. Imagine a traveler looking for an oasis, confident that there's water to breathe, not worried about the thirst that might consume them in the desert. This principle shows us a common mistake in manifestation. When someone craves something because they feel lack, what they are actually feeling is the vibration of absence, not possession. There are practices, records, and ancient traditions that encourage us to stabilize our vibration before creating anything. In certain occult orders, there was talk of a sealed state of alignment where desire, beliefs, and emotions operated in unity. This wasn't just a mechanical act, but a true transmutation. The idea is to focus on the vibration of absence rather than the possession. There are some really interesting practices and records from ancient times that suggest initiates work to stabilize this vibration before creating anything. In certain occult orders, there was talk of a state of alignment where desire, beliefs, and emotions operated in unity. This wasn't a mechanical act, but a true transmutation. So, to sum it up, before this will materialize in its environment, you should become the vibratory incarnation of your intention. The same concept is also found in certain fragments of mystique Kabbalistic, where it is described that the universe is a living reflection of the vibration that remains inside. This is mentioned in an enigmatic passage found in XVA, Friend A Circumflex. Here's something really interesting. Inside, you should become the vibration you're aiming for. This is the same idea that we find in some mystical Kabbalistic texts. They say that the universe is like a living echo of the vibration inside you. This idea is also mentioned in a 15th century poem. The poem says that it's not the echo that creates the voice, but the voice that becomes the echo. The vibration you hold is what the universe responds to. This is a key principle. What you make real is the natural response of a field that's vibrating in a balanced way. It's not about forcing things to happen or making big requests in a desperate way. In many spiritual traditions, the idea of a vibrational equilibrium was seen as the bridge between your intention and the thing you want to happen. Simple mental statements can help you find the frequency you're looking for and make it the core of your being. Meditative practices allow you to stay in a state of vibratory harmonization for days, ensuring that your energy field radiates the same essence as what you seek to bring. One of the aspects of manifestation that isn't so well understood is the need for stability. Many of us seek to attract something, but it's the vibration that counts. It's all up in the air, isn't it? One minute you're feeling sure of yourself, the next you're not. One minute you're raring to go, the next you're not sure what's going on. This back and forth creates a signal that's a bit confusing in the energy field. What's stopping the demonstration from taking shape? It's in the alchemical texts, but they don't go into a lot of detail. There's a hidden principle, and it's there to help you. The fire doesn't question its heat. If you're in your vibration, you'll see the transformation happen in the circles of wisdom. Antigua talked about the guardians of vibration. Those who believe in this concept don't think that outside influences can change your energy. It's not about ignoring reality, but rather about maintaining the vibration you choose, even when things get chaotic or uncertain. The true manifestors don't need outside signals to feel sure about what they believe. Your conviction is what shapes your environment. So, the big question is, how can you keep a steady energy in a world with so much energy? I totally get it. You're constantly moving can be tough. But here's the thing, when you're in tune with that vibration, it's not just an emotion, it's a continuous lesson. I've read some really interesting stuff in Egyptian writings about theurgy, and it seems like the key to perfect manifestation is all about living the reality you want to see. At first, this might seem a bit counterintuitive, but it's really the heart of the matter. Vibration isn't about sitting and waiting for things to happen, it's about having certainty in your heart. Hey, I totally get it. The shadow and the manifestation are already one. If reality is an internal frequency reflection, then the true question isn't about wanting to manifest, but about being present in every moment. If vibration is the key that opens all doors, then let's hold our note without altering it until the symphony of the universe responds with the same melody. Chapter 5, Break Negative Energy Loops. Universe is like a beautiful, ever-changing cycle of energy. Sometimes, it can feel like we're stuck in a swirl, going around and around the same experiences. But, when we don't go through a real, deep transformation, things don't always go as planned. That's okay. It's just a sign that we're on the path to a new, better place. Hey, let's have a conversation about the frequency that keeps your circumstances coming back. The old mystical treatises talk about a kind of invisible slavery where your mind and spirit feel stuck in the echoes of past experiences. This energy prison doesn't need physical bars because the real limitation is the frequency with which you find yourself in it. Some esoteric writings mention that the wheel doesn't turn on the earth, but around the wheel. When we keep on repeating the same patterns without cutting the connections, it's like we're stuck in a rut. But, alchemists used to talk about this idea of transmutation of the weight. It's all about turning our challenges into lesson from the past. These texts say that making mistakes is just part of the journey, especially for those who are trying to grow and evolve. When we keep on seeing the same patterns, even when we don't mean to, it might be a sign that we need to take a closer look at how we're connected to the past. The alchemists talked about how we can transform our experiences, especially the ones that are hard to let go of, into something positive. It's like trying to change the outside without changing the vibration inside. There's a saying from a temple that was underwater that says, if you try to cross the threshold without releasing your load, you'll just see the same patterns over and over again. But there's hope. The release process starts with identifying the pattern that's keeping the cycle going. Reality is all about trying to change the outside without altering the inside. There's an inscription in a temple that says, "See here, the one who tries to cross the threshold without releasing its load will only see the repetition of the path." The release process starts with identifying the pattern that keeps the cycle going. References to water memory, a theory that suggests energy and emotion are stored in the body's fluids and can be passed down through generations, might explain why certain families seem to be tied to the same tragic destinies or why a person experiences the same circumstances in different ways. It's fascinating how certain families seem to be connected by tragic events or similar circumstances in their lives. This phenomenon has led to the exploration of the idea that our thoughts and emotions have a powerful influence on our energy field. Some intriguing experiments in quantum mechanics suggest that our memories are stored in our body's fluids and can be passed down through generations. This idea offers a beautiful perspective on how our experiences can resonate with those around us, even across different eras. In some old rituals, it was believed that rewriting an event in our thoughts could alter its energy and impact on our lives. This wasn't about denying the experience, but rather about changing how we feel and interpret the energy around us. Some medieval manuscripts describe a practice of looking at events with a new perspective, where the light of understanding can illuminate our path. Faces and scenarios in certain old rituals believe in the power of rewriting an event in consciousness to change its vibratory impact on the present was widespread. This belief didn't involve denying the experience, but rather changing its emotional and energy interpretation. Some medieval manuscripts describe the practice of reviving a scene with a new light, where the initiated had to visualize the event as painful until they could feel gratitude for their teaching. This feeling released the energy load that had been anchored in the repetition of practices. Beyond practices, esoteric contemporary science has explored the influence of thought and emotion in the configuration of the quantum field. Certain experiments have. If you find yourself feeling lonely, know that you're not alone. Some ancient texts suggest that the way to break free from this energy loop is not by fighting against external circumstances, but by working on your inner world. It's like when you resist something, it keeps on coming back to you. The beautiful thing is, there's a way to transform this pattern. Repetitive reality, it turns out, can actually be a gift in disguise. It's important to understand that particles respond to the expectation of the observer. This means that our external reality is like a mirror of our internal frequency. So, if someone is holding the vibration of scarcity, even in abundance, they might feel limited. This is true even if they are surrounded by many supportive people. If you feel lonely, it's essential to remember that the key to breaking an energy loop isn't in fighting against external circumstances. Instead, it's in tuning into your internal frequency. Some old texts hint at a hidden principle: what you resist, persists. The Transform This teaching suggests that the only way to change a repetitive reality is if you're feeling lonely. Know that the secret to breaking an energy loop isn't about fighting against external forces. It's about embracing the changes within. Some old texts suggest a hidden principle: what you resist, persists. The Transform This teaching suggests that the only way to change a reality that repeats itself is to stop fighting against it and allow your lesson to be understood. Mystical stories about thread liberation described how the ancients taught their disciples to visualize their experiences as a light fabric, where each event represented a knot. To undo these knots, they didn't need to cut the rope, but to modify your thoughts, that is. It's not about erasing memories or holding on to the past. Instead, it's about gently releasing the emotional weight we carry. The key to transformation lies in aligning with the new reality. One common mistake is trying to attract a different situation while still vibrating in fear. If you want to be healthy, but your mind is stuck in fear of disease, your body will continue to. If you're missing someone and longing for that connection, but your heart keeps reminding you of the reality you're in, it's normal to feel a bit lost. Your mind might start to show you signs of loss in unexpected ways. Some writings about the origin of this feeling say that only those who have truly changed on the inside can see the change outside. There's a mystery in there, and not many can figure it out. Remember, finding freedom doesn't mean forcing external reality to change, but if you're longing for love, but your heart keeps going back to the same old patterns, know that you're not alone. It's like your heart is stuck in a loop, and you're trying to break free, but you can't seem to find the key. Some folks say that only when you change on the inside will you see the real change on the outside. It's like there's a secret code that only you can unlock, and it's not about forcing reality to change, but more like shifting your own inner vibrational state. Until you do that, the outside world might keep reflecting the old patterns. But when you let go of the trapped energy, your personal frequency shifts, and your reality changes. It's like the river that keeps turning and swirling, but then it stops and flows towards a new path. And the big question is, who's ready to make that change? Hey, let's work together to release the weight of your past and rewrite the vibration of your destination. In Chapter 6, we're going to talk about how to seal and protect your field energy. The universe is like this vast ocean of energy that's always flowing. Everything in the universe, including you, emits and receives vibrations that affect your energy field and physical body. It's important to protect yourself from the harshness of the environment. Your field energy needs protection from outside influences. There are some influences out there that can weaken it, alter its frequency, or drain those who have understood the vibration power. Those who have learned to seal and strengthen it are called the ancient wise men. They talked about the body of light, a subtle structure that wraps around the human body. When it is strong and stable, it keeps us immune to harmful interference. In the most hidden texts of various traditions, there are mentions of this energy envelope being adjustable and able to be controlled with intention. Some writings found in remote monasteries describe how the great teachers could walk between crowds without being affected by the vibratory density of the cuss environment. They had perfected the art of shielding. Energy is no accident in mythical traditions. In the hidden corners of various traditions, there are whispers of an incredible energy that can be shaped and directed with intention. Some ancient writings, found in monasteries tucked away in the mountains, tell of great teachers who could walk through crowds without being affected by the energy of the cuss environment. They had mastered the art of shielding themselves with energy. And in the ancient tales, there's a mention of invisible layers that protected the wise ones from outside attacks. It was said that these individuals had discovered the secret of frequency, creating vibrational barriers that kept low energy from penetrating their field. In some inscriptions, there's a mention of a golden skin, a state where the aura is so intense that no discordant vibration can stick. Throughout history, those initiated in the mysteries have used different methods to preserve your integrity energy. Some turn to symbols of power, others to sacred symbols that raise their vibration, and some to specific rituals of purification and sealing. However, the key has never been in the tool itself, but in intention and coherence of the vibratory energy used. Without energy, a mantra is like a little voice in your head, but it needs to be strong and true to really work its magic. If it's just a sound, it's like a nice song, but it doesn't have much power. And if it's an empty ritual, it's like a dance without a purpose. The energy practices we've seen in different cultures, like the writings of certain hermetic orders, are like little stories of protection. One of them is about wrapping aluminum and imagining a sphere of light around it, like a shield that can't be broken. In other traditions, they talk about cleaning your energy field before making it stronger. Hey, I just wanted to let you know that a shield built on a contaminated vibration might not be the best option for you. Some of the older teachings said that the best protection is not only an external shield, but also raising your internal frequency. It's like being a being that vibrates at a higher frequency, or you're less vulnerable to negative energies, like how intense love isn't affected by shadows. They say that those who master this art can walk in places of dense negativity without being affected, because its vibrations are different. It's important to protect your energy field from outside influences, because otherwise you might end up draining your energy. Some people, Without realizing it, allow their energy to be exposed to low-frequency environments or to people who act as sinks for vibrations. In ancient writings, the phenomenon of fire theft is described as a metaphor for how vital energy can be stolen when there is no control over it. In certain initiatory practices, the first step is to protect your energy field. Before sealing, it was taught that energy protection involves cleaning the field. It's important to eliminate any foreign load so that the vibration is pure and uncontaminated. Ancient texts describe how some villagers performed rituals with natural elements, such as fire, water, or wind, to purify and strengthen their field. The guardians of former knowledge schools knew that true security comes not only from external shields, but also from alignment, vibratory, a clear mind, and a balanced heart. A firm intention is like a shield that protects you from any interference in your thoughts. It's like a mental storm, where the person generating the thoughts creates such a high frequency that any energy that doesn't resonate with it just dissipates. Throughout history, there have been people who have achieved such a high vibrational frequency that the mere presence of these individuals has the power to harmonize spaces and dispel negativity. This is because energy responds to coherence, and when a person maintains a high vibrational frequency, it has a beautiful effect on the energy around them. Your energy field is like a shield that protects you from negative influences. The most important thing is not to shield yourself from everything, but to raise your own frequency until you're completely aligned with your inner power. When you're fully open and vulnerable, you're more protected from any attack. How many of you are ready to take charge of your energy and become the master of your own body? Channel that translates the subtle energy in experience tangible is not just a structure, but a bridge between material and the invisible. It's a beautiful intersection between the physical world and the vibrational field that supports the oldest traditions. It was understood that the position, breathing, and body consciousness were mere physical habits, but they were precise tools to mold reality in the texts of Tao Tech. Describe the wise as someone who flows with the energy of the universe that aligns you. It's all about finding that sweet spot where your body and mind team up to create a channel for pure energy. It's not just a metaphor, it's a real way of understanding how your posture affects the flow of energy. If you're feeling stiff or stressed, it can feel like the energy isn't moving as freely, as if it's stuck in a tight spot. But, when you let go of that tension and allow your body to move naturally, it's like you're opening a door to the universal energy that's always flowing around us. The ancient Jobis understood this and created positions that help you tap into that energy. Hey, I totally get it. Your body's health is super important, but so is getting in tune with the energy of the universe. In an old yoga text called Shiva Samhita, it talks about finding a position that keeps your body stable and free from tension. This is key for letting your energy flow smoothly. It's no surprise that so many spiritual traditions highlight the power of posture in their meditation practices. When your body's in a good position, it boosts the energy field and makes it easier to connect with higher levels. The position itself is just one piece of the puzzle. Breathing is like the thread that connects your mind with your body and its time with the subtle energy field in the atta. In a yoga predictor, it says that when your breathing is unstable, your mind is unstable. But when your breathing is steady, your mind is at ease. The breath is like the key that opens the door to higher states of perception. Modulating the breathing is the thread that connects the mind with the body and its time with the subtle energy field in the atta. Yoga predictor beautifully says that when breathing is unstable, the mind is unstable. When breathing is steady, the mind is steady. The breath is the key that opens the door to higher states of perception, modulating the vibration of be and allowing energy to flow with a greater harmony. The ancient Egyptians talked about the need for rhythmic action to access the mysteries of creation in their Hermetic teachings. In initiation rituals, priests learned to control their breath, understanding that each inhalation and exhalation could refine the vibration of your body with the symphony of the. The ancient Egyptians had some really interesting ideas about the power of our breath. They believed that each time we breathe in and out, it's like we're tuning into the symphony of the cosmos. This idea is still alive and well in many traditions today. One of the things I've learned from my teachers is that the way we breathe can have a huge impact on the energy we have and the world around us. It's not just about the posture and being aware of your body, but also about tuning into the energy that's there. It's not enough to just be in your body, you have to feel it, understand it, and listen to it. In many traditions, the idea that our energy and reality are determined by our breathing is really important. It's not just about taking care of our bodies, but also about feeling and understanding them. Hermeticum says that our bodies are like temples for our spirits, and if we ignore the signs of our physical selves, we're missing out on their power. In shamanic traditions, they teach that every part of our body reflects the whole universe. By connecting with these energy points, we can access the deepest parts of ourselves. Hermeticum reminds us that our bodies are like temples for our spirits. If we ignore the signals our bodies are sending, we're missing out on their incredible power. In many traditions, shamanic practices teach us that every part of the body reflects the whole universe. By connecting with these energy points, we can access the deepest dimensions of our being. The energy we project isn't just random, but a direct result of the form our body takes. When we walk with confidence and presence, we transmit a different vibration than when we're weighed down by doubt and heaviness. Sufi teachings say that dance isn't just an artistic expression, but a way to synchronize our body, mind, and spirit. The energy you put out into the world is a reflection of the kind of person you are. When you walk with confidence and presence, you radiate a different vibration than when you're carrying doubt and heaviness. In the Sufi teachings, it's said that dance isn't just an artistic expression, but a way of synchronizing your internal vibration with the rhythm of the cosmos. When a dervish whirls in meditation, they are not just doing it for the symbolism. They are doing it because they understand that conscious movement is a tool to raise their frequency and fuse with the primary current of energy. Your body is a generator of realities. Your position, your breathing, and its vibration determine the quality of your experience. When you're in tune with your body's natural rhythm, you're tapping into a deeper, more authentic version of yourself. It's not just about following a trend or some abstract idea, it's about connecting with your true self and aligning with the fundamental truth of the universe. When you're in sync with your inner rhythm, it's like you're harmonizing with the cosmic dance of life. It's not just about moving your body, but about being present with yourself and allowing your energy to flow freely. Your body is a beautiful vessel that holds and expresses your essence. The way you position yourself, the rhythm of your breath, and the energy that flows through you all create a unique and beautiful reality. But if you're feeling tense or out of balance, it's important to remember that true transformation starts on the inside. It's not about forcing something to happen, but about being gentle with yourself and allowing your body the space to adjust and grow. So, the question isn't about whether your body accepts change, but how many of you are willing to be the best version of yourself. It's important to understand that the energy that we put out into the world and the energy that we attract back into ourselves are both manifestations of our own reality. And that reality is shaped by our posture, our breathing, and the energy we put out into the world. So, the question we should all be asking ourselves is, how many of us are willing to take control of our posture, our breathing, and our energy, and become the architects of our own reality? How many of us will understand that the secret is not in external techniques, but in the form that lives in our own temple? Physical Chapter 8, Resonance Principle Quantum Everything in the Universe. This is not an abstract idea or an empty philosophical concept. It's a fundamental truth. Imagine your body and mind as a beautiful temple, and your breath as the energy that keeps it running. When you're in tune with your reality, you'll see that the secret isn't in some outside magic, but in the beautiful harmony that exists within. Quantum resonance, the way everything in the universe connects and vibrates, is more than just a thought-up idea. It's a fundamental truth that exists in every part of the universe, from the tiniest particles to the farthest galaxies. Everything emits a unique vibration that defines its nature. Quantum resonance is like a beautiful dance of energies, where similar vibrations attract and align. It's not just a mysterious law of reality, it's a constant reminder that everything in life is connected. To truly understand quantum resonance, you just need to let go of the idea that you're separate and start seeing the world as a beautiful, interconnected whole. Everything in existence, you're from the tiniest particles to the farthest galaxies, your emits a unique vibration that defines your nature. Quantum resonance is a beautiful law of reality that says similar energies attract and align. To truly understand quantum resonance, you've got to let go of the idea that reality is static. Matter is nothing more than condensed energy, and its behavior is governed by the frequency you emit. As Nikola Tesla said, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. This isn't a metaphor, it's real science. Quantum physics has demonstrated that particles do not have a fixed existence. Reality is like a beautiful dance of energy, and our experiences are reflections of the vibrations we put out into the world. It's not just a coincidence that we attract similar experiences and ideas. Nikola Tesla said that if you want to understand the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. This isn't just a pretty thought, it's scientific fact. Quantum physics has shown that particles don't just sit there, they are constantly interacting with the energy around them. What this means is that the reality we experience is a direct reflection of the energy we put out. So, if you're going through a tough time, it might be a sign that your vibration needs some work. And if you're having a lot of good things happen, it's probably because your vibration is high. You know, everything in the universe is energy. And everything interacts with energy. So, what we experience in our lives is a direct reflection of the energy we put out. If you're not feeling your best, that's going to show. But if you're feeling great, that's going to show too. It's like a tuning process. It's not about fighting reality. It's about learning to adjust your energy until the universe can't help but show you what's true. Why do you think people who are on the same energy wavelength tend to be attracted to the same things? It's not just a coincidence. Everything in the universe is in constant, beautiful motion, and this energy is something that can be harnessed. The ancient Hermethians expressed this beautifully in their vibration law: nothing is motionless, everything vibrates. This law was hidden for centuries because it gives absolute power over reality. If each person vibrates at a different frequency, then the secret to manifestation is: everything in the universe is in constant motion, and this energy is something that can be harnessed. The ancient Hermethians had a lot to say about it, and they came up with a pretty cool law about vibrations. It says that everything is vibrating all the time, and nothing really stops moving. This law was hidden for a long time because it gives us a lot of power over our reality. If we can find the right frequency for ourselves, we can attract what we want in life. The secret is not about forcing things, but rather, changing our vibrations on the inside until they match what we want. This is where the concept of vibratory coherence comes in. It's not enough to just think about what you want, you have to feel it, live it, and keep that vibration going until things around you start responding. It's like tuning a musical instrument, or if you do it right, everything starts to vibrate in sync. When you're in tune with the universe, you'll feel the harmony of the world around you. But if you're feeling doubt, fear, or confusion, it's hard to get in sync with the universe. If your energy is scattered by doubt, fear, or confusion, then the vibration you emit will be confusing, and the universe will reflect chaos. But if your frequency is stable and focused, then the manifestation will come back. Science has explored this phenomenon in multiple experiments in quantum mechanics. The superposition principle establishes that a particle can exist in multiple states until it is observed. This means that reality is not fixed, but responds to the awareness of whom the experience is being observed. The /J show that the simple act of observing change can alter the behavior of particles. The same happens in manifestation: energy follows attention, and reality responds to the frequency with which a thought is expressed. The key question is how to adjust your personal frequency so that you can manifest what you desire. You know how sometimes you hear something and it just clicks with you. That's quantum resonance at work. It's like the universe is saying, "Hey, I totally get what you're looking for." But here's the cool part: it's not just about saying the right thing. It's about being clear and genuine in your intention. If you're feeling a bit vague or uncertain, that's okay. Just define your intention as a clear signal to the field, and you're good to go. That's the second key. What you want is in harmony with what you desire. Attracting the first key is all about having a clear intention. A lazy desire generates a diffuse vibration that prevents the universe from reflecting it in a way that works for you. It's important to define your intention as a clear signal sent to the field quantum. The second key is the emotion. The frequency of a person does not determine the emotion. It is determined only by your thoughts. But the emotion that accompanies the emotion is the fuel of the vibration. If a thought of abundance is accompanied by a lack of resonance, the vibration will be of lack. That's why many people try to express without success what they think of. Your vibration is determined only by your thoughts, but the emotion that accompanies it is the fuel for the vibration. If you think about abundance but feel a sense of lack, your vibration will not be aligned. This is why so many people try to express what they want but feel like they are not enough, without success. The third key is the repetition of the vibration. It's not enough to think about a desire once and wait for it to manifest. Quantum resonance requires consistency, like a radio signal that's kept at an exact frequency to tune in with a station. What they're looking for is something they can feel, but they are not quite sure how to go about it. The fourth key is all about making that vibration steady. It's like tuning into a radio station where you've got to stay on the same frequency to get the right signal. If you're holding on to a belief that says you don't deserve something, it's like you're putting up a wall that's blocking the vibration you want. But here's the thing, manifesting something doesn't mean you don't want it. It's like a radio signal, or it's not a lack of desire that's stopping you, it's just a little interference. If you want to attract what you know, you've got to find a way to make your vibration stable. If you're holding on to an unconscious belief that you don't deserve what you want, you might not be able to see what your vibration is trying to tell you. It's important to understand that blocks in the manifestation aren't because you don't want something, but rather because of beliefs and limitations that are in sync with a different frequency. At the end of the day, quantum mechanics isn't magic or superstition. It's just the way reality works. When you understand how it all works, you become the architect of your own life. You don't have to wait for the universe to give you what you want, you can take charge and adjust your internal frequency until reality aligns. Quantum resonance is the key to this. The teacher who's willing to tune in with your greatness is the one who can help you. There's some confusion between quantum resonance and the law of attraction, but both ideas are actually part of esoteric and self-development knowledge. It's easy to confuse these two, but they are actually different. The law of attraction is a general idea that says things and feelings attract similar things. On the other hand, quantum resonance is more about the deep links between reality's structure, vibrations, and how things interact at a frequency level. To really understand these differences and how they work together is the key to getting into the foundations of Ka. The law of attraction is a popular topic in modern texts. It suggests that similar things attract each other, and that the universe responds to the energy and emotions of the thoughts we repeat. However, this approach doesn't take into account the deeper energy patterns and fields that exist before the universe was created. Quantum or coherence vibratory is something we all have, even if we don't realize it. It's a process that's more complex than just thinking about how a system's vibratory structure relates to reality. Manifesting isn't about attracting, but rather tuning into a specific frequency. In this sense, resonance is key. Quantum is so cool because it's not just about what we think or feel, but the whole package of being, the subconscious, the body, emotions, and energy patterns we've picked up along the way. It's not about just wishing for something really hard, but rather, finding harmony with it. One of the mistakes with the law of attraction is quantum is so smart. It knows what I'm thinking, feeling, and what I'm made of, all at once. It's not just about wishing for something and hoping for the best. The law of attraction says that if you want something, you have to be in harmony with your own energy. A lot of people who are trying to attract something new to them don't get the results they want. It's like their energy is stuck in a rut, thinking about the past or worrying about the future. But when you're in tune with your own energy, you can manifest things right away. If you're in the same old pattern of thinking and feeling, it might take a while to see results. It's happening right away, but there's a little mismatch between what you want and the vibration that's happening. It takes a little time and some inner work to get in sync. That's where it's really important to focus on the energy alignment, which isn't just about thinking, but rather being fully immersed in the process. To help you understand, let's picture it like this. The law of attraction is like trying to tune into a radio station, repeating the name of the station in a loud voice, waiting for the frequency to change. Instead, quantum resonance is all about tuning the dial with precision, understanding how waves are transmitted and how to adjust the signal to match the frequency of what you want. The difference is subtle but really important. The law of attraction tries to attract what's outside, while resonance quantum transforms one's frequency so that reality reflects that change. It's not about forcing reality to respond, but about returning the type of entity that naturally exists inside of reality, thus creating the true manifestation. It's not based on willpower or a repetitive desire, but on integrating a new vibrational state that modifies the energy structure of the individual. When the frequency is refined precisely, reality responds with absolute accuracy. Chapter 9, The Ways of Thinking and Their Influence. Every thought emitted is like a stone thrown into a labo. Its impact is like a ripple in a pond, spreading out from its origin and altering the stillness of water, creating circles that keep growing. The forms of thought and energy patterns that emerge from the mind and settle in the vibratory structure of the individual and their environment are not just random. Labo's impact is like a ripple in a pond, spreading and growing wider with each passing thought. These thoughts and their accompanying energies aren't just passing by, they are part of the fabric of our world, shaping how we perceive things, feel, and ultimately, manifesting in our reality. Every thought that's held with emotion becomes a part of this energy field, like a pebble in a stream, gradually building momentum and becoming more noticeable in our physical world. This idea has been explored in ancient manuscripts and doctrines, with many esoteric traditions recognizing its power and significance. They talk about how powerful thoughts are, how they can create things in the world. In some old texts, they say that the mind is like the boss of everything, and in Kabbalistic writings, they talk about how the universe is like a reflection of our thoughts. Every thought we have reflects and creates energy that came from the beginning of time. The Vedic texts describe the incredible power of thought as a creative force. In Kabbalistic writings, the mind, or manas, is seen as a fundamental organizing principle of our existence. The structure of the universe is thought of as a reflection of consciousness, and every human thought reflects and models energy primordial. The Hermeticum beautifully captures this idea with the saying, "As is up is down." This means that what we conceive in our minds eventually takes shape in the physical world. Buddhism teaches that reality is a reflection of the mind, and our attention and intention shape the experience. This perspective reminds us that the mind is not just a passive receiver of stimuli, but a dynamic agent in our lives. Hermeticum says that the world is a mirror, and we can see our thoughts and feelings in the world around us. In Buddhism, they say that reality is a reflection of the mind, and our thoughts and intentions shape how we experience the world. This means that our mind is like an active creator, not just a receiver of things. Every thought we have creates a subtle energy structure in our mind, and if we nourish these thoughts with emotion and repetition, they become a stable pattern. These patterns are like nodes in a vibratory network of our existence. So, our thoughts and intentions create forms that live in our mind. You are an active entity that projects and modifies the vibratory field in which you inhabit each thought. This subtle energy structure, if nourished with emotion and repetition, becomes a stable pattern, a node in the vibratory network of your existence. So, the forms are born of thought entities that rub in the mind of the individual or in the unconscious collective, molding perception and attracting circumstances that reinforce your presence. Not all forms of thought operate for the benefit of the creator. Many are silent parasites that are perpetuated in the psyche and reinforce states of fear or limitation. These are infiltrated in consciousness as inherited. You know, there are different types of thoughts. Some of them are good for you, and some of them aren't. A lot of us have been influenced by the environment we grew up in. If you grew up in a place where there wasn't a lot of material stuff, it's likely that you've absorbed the feeling that there's not enough of everything. It's like your mind has been programmed to think that there's not enough of everything. Beliefs about the environment or unconscious repetitions of patterns can be really hard to break. If you grew up in an environment where there wasn't a lot of material stuff, it's normal to see scarcity as the norm. Your mind has been programmed to think that abundance isn't for you, and this pattern can make it hard to see the possibilities for prosperity. But there's hope. To transform your reality, you just need to change your thoughts and break down the structures that have been reinforced by years of belief and experience. It's like taking a fortress that's been crumbling and rebuilding it from the ground up. I know this pattern can be a bit tricky. It's like a filter that distorts your perception and blocks any possibility of prosperity. But here's the good news, it's not too hard to change your reality. You just have to change the way you think. It's like dismantling a fortress. You can't just throw a single stone against its walls and expect it to collapse. You have to be conscious of the process of deprogramming and dissolving the old way of thinking. You have to interrupt the flow of energy that feeds the way you think and replace it with a new structure. The mystical orders of East and West have developed some really cool methods for this reprogramming in Tantric tradition. They use mantric words of power that reconfigure vibrations and mental energy, dissolving negative energy patterns. In Hermetic alchemy, they talk about the transmutation principle, which is the ability to raise dense energy to a higher state through. The mystical orders of East and West have developed some really interesting methods for this reprogramming in Tantric tradition. They use mantric words of power that reconfigure vibrations and mental energy, and dissolve negative energy patterns. In Hermetic alchemy, they talk about the transmutation principle, which is the ability to raise dense energy to a higher state through thought. In shamanic practices, rituals and visualizations are used to release the emotional burden from a way of thinking and transform it into a structure aligned with the will of the superior. The elimination of negative patterns is only half of the process. Once the energy field has been cleared, it's essential to sow new ways of thinking. In shamanic practices, we use rituals and visualizations to release the emotional burden of thinking and transform it into a structure that's aligned with our will. It's important to recognize that eliminating negative patterns is only half of the process. Once we've cleared the energy field, we need to nurture new ways of thinking that hold reality in a desired way. This is where intention plays a role. I've found that a fundamental thought is less powerful if it's not supported by emotion and certainty. For a new form of thought to take root in the individual structure, we need to nourish the vibratory energy with attention and conviction. We must live our thoughts as if the new reality is already true. Thinking that reality is what you want is where intention comes in. I've found that thoughts alone aren't enough, they need to be supported by emotions and a sense of certainty if they are going to take root and make a difference. To create a new way of thinking, we need to nurture it with attention and belief. We have to live it as if the new reality already exists and the vibration of the desire has been fulfilled. It's like building a stable energy base. This is why some people make huge changes in their lives, while others stay stuck in their cycles. It's not about luck or physical effort, but about being in sync with the vibrational energy. Those who see quick results are the ones who are in sync. Some people have the ability to manifest their desires quickly. They don't just think about their desires, they feel them as a certainty. They've created a kind of thought that's so powerful and in sync with the universe that it has to respond to that frequency. But this takes practice. Our minds are used to being all over the place, with thoughts and emotions coming and going. It's so important to think about your thoughts and feelings. When you feel your thoughts as a certainty, it creates a powerful and beautiful thought that the universe can't ignore. But to make this happen, you've got to be disciplined. Our minds are used to being all over the place, with thoughts and feelings coming and going. To make a new way of thinking stick, we need to be very focused and let it guide us. This is where paying attention becomes really important. Energy follows thought, and reality responds to the dominant vibration. If we're in the middle of uncertainty, it's hard to make things happen. It's important to remember that a new way of thinking needs to be nurtured with coherence if it's going to survive. This is where paying attention becomes really important. Energy follows thought, and reality responds to the predominant vibration in the mind. If the mind wanders from sea and uncertainty, the manifestation will be inconsistent and, ultimately, fragment the understanding of thought. It's the key to mastering reality. It's not enough to wish for change, it's necessary to model it in the structure of being. Every thought emitted is a seed that is watered with intention and emotion. It will grow into a force tangible. I understand that this might seem a bit inconsistent, and I'm sorry if it feels like it's making things more complicated than they need to be. But, it's really important to remember that just wishing for change isn't enough. What we need to do is weave it into the fabric of our being. Every thought we have is like a little seed, and if we nurture it with intention and emotion, it'll grow into something powerful. So, if you're struggling with your thoughts, don't feel like you're a slave to them. Instead, think of yourself as an architect, designing your life with intention. And, if you're having a hard time, remember that there's a lot of love and support out there. Each thought is like a piece of raw material, and your emotions are like a fire that heats up your mind. The wise old soul, the architect of his own destiny, is not a slave to circumstances, but a creator. Chapter 10, Emotion and Demonstration. In the deep laboratory of the soul kindles a fire within. Each thought, like a piece of raw material, is deposited in the crucible of the mind. But it is emotion that melts that subtle subject, turning it into a form. Without the heat of feeling, intention alone would be like metal that is cold and never tempered into steel or transmuted into gold. From the beginning, The wise have sensed that the desire, that first flame of the heart, was the trigger for creation. In the hymn, I ask that I desire, that the wise times have sensed that the flame of the heart is the trigger for creation. In the hymn, I ask that I desire, at the beginning, that it was the first seed of the mind. This old writing of the band speaks to us in encrypted language. Before there was anything, there was a primordial desire, a burning spark in the void that put everything in. That first cosmic emotion marches. It was the force that linked nothing with him, the link between thought. It all began with a seed of thought, a first inkling of what was to come. This ancient text, a whisper of the divine, speaks to us in a language shrouded in mystery. Before the world was shaped, there was a primal longing, a fiery spark in the vastness that brought everything into existence. That initial cosmic emotion, that first stirrings of connection, became the thread that bound the cosmos to our thoughts. It became the essence of creation, the divine spark that ignited the universe. And in our own little corners of the world, in every personal creation we nurture, that flame still burns. Every intention we weave in our minds is like a delicate tapestry, a subtle outline waiting to be filled with the vibrant energy of creativity, the Hindu tradition tells us. The divine and manifestation of the universe, if desire as emotion primordial, lit the entire creation. Our little personal creations. They also require that flame interior. Every intention we forge in the mind is a plane, a subtle outline. But to come alive, that plane must be impregnated with the creative energy of the feeling. The Hindu tradition reiterated it millennia later in his Sufism: you are what your deep desire drives. As your desire is your will, as your will is your will, as your actions are your Anakapat destination. Translation: this venerable passage reveals the alchemical chain that goes from longing to the heart of fate. He repeated it again and again, like a mantra, in his supplication, you are what you desire. Drive your desires as your will, and your will is your actions. Ranakapat is your destination. This passage, full of wisdom, reveals the alchemical chain that connects our deepest desires to our actions and, ultimately, to the world around us. We yearn with purity and force, shaping our will, our actions, and finally, the reality that we live in. In other words, it's the emotion felt in the deepest desire that determines whether our intentions will thrive and manifest in the world. Without the passion, the intention becomes a force that is unstoppable and creative. We all have the deep desire, don't we? The thing that makes our dreams come true. It's that passion that makes our intentions a reality. Just picture an alchemist in his workshop, carefully mixing ingredients and visualizing the results. But he can't do it alone. He needs to ignite the flame. And that passion is what gives our intentions the power to move mountains. Picture this, an alchemist standing before his fire, ready to transform ingredients into gold. He's got his vision set on a clear goal, but he knows that true magic happens when he ignites the flame. Just a little heat, and those embers catch fire. Little by little, they move. It's like believing in something so strongly that it actually starts to manifest in reality. In spiritual traditions, there's a deep respect for the power of our desires. The Christian gospel talks about the transformative power of faith. Jesus reminds us that with simple words, we can ask for what we want and receive it. This idea is beautifully expressed in the Bible. In Mark 11:24 implies more than a formula. It implies the religious urge to believe with the certainty that it is requested, and that certainty is not cold intellectual conviction, but rather an emotion made certain, a feeling of trust so intense and pure that it acts as an order to the universe, believe as if it were true. It is equivalent to feeling joy and gratitude anticipated. It's like wrapping your thoughts in a warm, fuzzy blanket of emotion, making it feel as real as can be. Imagine a magnetic fire in your chest, drawing your imagination to the world around you. It's no coincidence that they talk about this when they talk about prayer. The Bible says that prayer can do a lot, and it's true, 16 in some translations. They emphasize that when we pray with great fervor, it has a tremendous impact. The intensity of our feelings can overcome challenges that might otherwise seem insurmountable. History is full of stories of miraculous events that have taken place. Some translations suggest that the sentence as passion comes from fervor. The intensity of feeling can break down barriers that might seem insurmountable to reason. History is rich with stories of miraculous healings and other incredible events, often attributed to intense emotions like love and desperation. These stories, some of which might seem too good to be true, remind us that when our hearts are driven by a purpose, even the laws of nature can seem to bend. The ancient myth of Pygmalion and his sculpture of Marcel is a beautiful example of this. Pygmalion's love for his sculpture was so deep and pure that it came to life. This shows that even in the most challenging situations, if we keep our hearts burning with a purpose, the laws of the universe can bend to make our dreams come true. Before that flame was the pure and passionate love of Pygmalion, who brought Marcel's sculpture to life. In that ancient myth, a simple thought of the ideal woman became real because the sculptor poured his heart and soul into her creation. We all have our inner goddesses, our inner visions that need the warmth of love and the passion to break free from the shadows. But any emotion is not enough. What matters most is the purity of that fire. A mixed fire with smoke is not hot enough to stain metals. It's a mixed emotion with doubts, fears, and our goddess, with her helper, the Sima, is there for us when we need to see our interior visions. She gives us the love and passion we need to leave the shadow kingdom. But it's not just any emotion that matters. It's the purity of that fire. A mixed fire with smoke, not hot, and it stains metals. A mixed emotion with doubts, fears, or intentions that are contradictory, it loses its power. The ancient mystics insisted on the need to purify the heart, the home of emotions, so that creative energy flows without distortion. The Sabia Sufi al-Ghazali wrote with beautiful, dear clarity, "Friend, your heart is a mirror. Polishing you must clean it from the veil of dust that has accumulated in it because it is destined to reflect the light of the divine secrets." Translation: what is that porvo but the murky emotions, attachments, and fears that cloud the inner light? Al-Razali. It tells us about a mirror heart that it's like a mirror of our creative spirit, but only if we polish it in the metaphorical workshop of our world. This idea is like refining emotional fuel. When we let go of impure emotions, they become stronger and clearer, and our intentions are in harmony with life itself. When we purify our hearts with sincerity, our love becomes like a white fire without smoke, a perfect flame that brings our noblest intentions to life. But if we try to create something from anxiety, ambition, or fear, those vibrations can create something less than perfect road results. Residues creations are twisted and don't bring peace. The art of conscious manifestation then demands a kind of discipline. Sarada to feel. Watch what emotions feed our creative brazier. Fasting those who poison the air and mock are only those that raise the temperature without darkening. Consider to what extent the power of an emotion can come. Focused on the results of our travels are a bit all over the place, but we're working on it. Our creations are a bit messed up, but we're working on it. The art of conscious manifestation requires some discipline, but we're up for it. We're working on feeling and watching what emotion feed our creative fire. We're fasting from those who poison the air and only allowing those that raise the temperature without darkening. We're focusing on the power of an emotion. The annals of mystique in the Orient are astonished stories of ways created by the mind. Alexandra David Neal, an explorer, entered secrets in Tibet and narrated that certain lamps were able to give life to tulpas, figures apparently engendered only with thought and energy. The psychic herself made a famous experiment, concentrating for a long time on your imagination in the figure of a jocular. Monk, you're on the right track. Just keep working on your project until you see something tangible. David Neal described these entities as magical formations created by a powerful concentration of thought. The original French translation into English and Spanish is really helpful, and it explains that this vitality can become thought form beyond technique, mental. Everything points to an intense emotional and volitional load feeding the monk. You're on the path to creating a tulpa. David Neal described these magical formations as powerful concentrations of thought. The original French words in English and Spanish translate to vitality capable of becoming a thought forms beyond technique, mental. Everything points to an intense emotional and volitional load feeding the creation of the tulpa until you give it life. The author said that once the tulpa had enough vitality, it began to become independent of its control, resembling the son who leaves the belly of the mother when she is complete. This maternal metaphor is not casual. It suggests that thought is nourished by the vital substance of the emotion just in the invisible uterus of the creation of a tulpa is a beautiful process that allows you to give life to something that you can then nurture and watch grow. The author suggests that once a tulpa has enough vitality, it begins to become independent, like a child leaving the safety of their mother's womb. This is a powerful metaphor that reminds us that the thoughts we nurture in our minds with the emotion just can become real, tangible things in the world around us. It's important to remember that these intense feelings can have a profound impact on our lives, both positive and negative. Sometimes, we might not fully realize the impact of our actions or the fears we hold, and they can manifest in our lives in ways we might not expect. But, if we stay open to the process and connect with our emotions, we can tap into a deeper sense of mastery and create something truly beautiful. The mind is capable of so much. It can be born to the world, and it can also alert us about responsibility. What we feel intensely can take our own smell for good or for worse. We are sometimes unconscious creators, and our fears can feed it. They can come alive in a certain sense as spectra that we can use to our advantage. The esoteric mastery always advises us to unite the force of emotion. The clarity of consciousness is important, too. We want to see expressed only what we want to see. All traditions, from Christian mystics to yogis and Sufis, have reiterated in their own way that truth, emotion, is the current that empowers the intention. It makes the world illuminate. Thought is the verb, but emotion is the breath that gives you voice. Without that breath, words. You are part of the creation, and you move with him. Even the quietest whispers can become reality. Let's remember how the last lines of the Divine Comedy reveal the poet's role in the structure of the cosmos. After ascending to all heavens, the poet glimpses a unifying force that moves everything. By understanding it, Dante writes that his own yearning was aligned with the universe wheel. We are inseparable from the source of all that is, and with each moment, we become more and more one with it. Even the softest whispers can become reality. Let's remember how the last lines of the Divine Comedy came to be. They show that the poet is part of the structure of the cosmos. After ascending to all heavens, he saw a unifying force that moves everything. By understanding it, Dante writes that his own yearning was aligned with the wheel of the universe. This powerful image, before the call of love, love with capital letters, confirms the highest intuition, most pure and high emotion. Love, divine, is the motor energy of the whole creation. The sun and stars, the turns of the firmament, all dance to the sound of a vibration that is fervor, joy, love. If that is the music that turns to galaxies, as it will not also be, which is really cool because it allows our little ones' creations to come to life every time we align our will with the spark of ourness, that particle of that love cosmic that shines in the center of being. We overcome the illusion of separation, and we are no longer separated from destination. We yearn to become one with the excited vision of his compliance. We are so excited to share with you the incredible journey of creating our little ones' creations. When we align our will with the spark of ourness, that particle of love, cosmic, that shines in the center of being, we can make something truly special. We are not just dreaming of becoming one with the excited vision of his compliance, we are actually making it real. The universe is responding to our vibration, and we're in this together. The fire metaphor alchemical has been our guide, showing us that every manifestation is a work of internal alchemy. We've seen how the Lama intensity, our passion, our burning desire to create. In this chapter, we've been exploring the beautiful idea that every thought we have has the power to manifest into reality. It's like we're all working on a personal alchemical journey, where our faith determines how quickly and completely our thoughts take shape. The purity of our intentions, like a cleansing fire, can clear away all the outside waste and outdated ideas that can cloud our true purpose. We've also been looking at some inspiring examples and visions that show us the vast potential of our mind and our ability to create tangible things. Faith is like a gentle breeze that carries us along on the path to enlightenment. It's like a fire that cleanses our hearts, making room for the true beauty of life. We'll dive into some inspiring examples that show us the power of imagination, from the cosmos that was born from desire, to the mind that can shape tangible realities through poetry and the love of others. All of these voices, from the Vedas and Upanishads to poets and prophets, come together to tell us a story that's deeply transformative. It's a story that's waiting for us to give it some love and attention, to make it stronger and more pure. So, let's dive into Chapter 11 of Fear and Power, the Night of the Soul, where we'll find the answers we're looking for. In the depths of our hearts, there's a dark place where fear can lurk. It's a space where we feel alone, even when others are around. But, my dear friend, the wise old alchemist sees beyond that. He sees the raw material of our fears as a kind of gold. By waiting and being patient, we can transform our fears into something beautiful and powerful. For thousands of years, spiritual traditions have been whispering to us that our deepest fears hold the key to our true strength. So, instead of seeing fear as something that blocks our path, let's embrace it as a part of ourselves, a part that can help us grow and evolve. It can become the fuel that powers your personal growth and manifestation, just like coal black that feeds the flame that forges the purer steel. The key is to learn to out-channel your fear and transform it into creative energy. In the past, people had to overcome incredible challenges to access sacred knowledge, and they had to cross many tests that we can't even describe. Deep down, they knew that the darkness in their hearts would bring out a greater light in the ancient elusive mysteries. The candidates went down into the kingdom of death, symbolically, and were surrounded by shocking visions. Many of those initiated said that the experience changed them and made them less afraid of death. This translation was made from the original English. In the ancient elusive mysteries, the candidate's example aroused a greater light by showing that we can face our fears and transform them into something new and powerful. They descended symbolically to the kingdom of death, surrounded by visions that shocked many of those initiated. They reported that the experience transformed them and relieved their fear of death. The translation of the original English text is below. The story and the myth show us that fear, faced in ritual or life, can be a catalyst for a metamorphosis of the interior self. How does this happen? It's a transformation of fear into power in the internal jurisdiction of the individual. The most subtle philosophies agree that everything starts with a change of perception. Rena Copyright E. Kirker, a wise soul, once shared a beautiful observation. She said that anguish is the vertigo of freedom. She originally wrote this phrase in Danish way back in the 19th century. In her words, she reveals to us that the deep fear of existential anguish exists precisely because of the unknown. When we have our own freedom and possibilities, it's only natural to feel a bit nervous because we understand that we can make a leap into the unknown like this. This isn't just something that chains us, but it's also a sign that's there to help us grow. It's exciting to imagine what might be on the other side of that open horizon. We can feel a kind of thrilling vertigo when we look down from a great height, and that fear can sometimes be a sign of a hidden strength within us. It's like flying beyond the limits we're used to, and that can be a beautiful step towards growth and self-discovery. It's like a mystical path in the East, where we find similar teachings wrapped in ancient languages. The Upanishad Briha Erika has a really beautiful perspective on Uttara. It says that they were born with a fear of this wisdom. You might say that fear comes from feeling separate from others and perceiving them as threats from outside. We are sensual beings. But when we perform the essential union with the divine, the unity of life arises. In the alchemy of spirit, there is no other than to fear. This suggests that the first step to transmute fear is to recognize that we're in this together, and we're not alone in the vastness of space. There's a lot of uncertainty and unknowns that can sometimes feel overwhelming. But, we're all connected. When we understand this, it's amazing how our deepest fears can start to change. Those heartbreaks we've experienced, they don't have to hold us back. Instead, they can become the fuel that pushes us forward. There's this Western mystic, New Thomas Trobber, who saw fear as a kind of creative energy. And Trobber, every human impulse comes from love or fear. If it's fear, it's like a distorted shadow of love. Fear and love are different, but both have a creative force. Love is eternal, but fear isn't. Fear comes from believing in a power outside of love, which is universal. This statement from a 20th century manuscript translation from the original in English shows us something important. Fear and love are two sides of the same coin. They are both temporary, and they can actually help us grow. When we're afraid, we can choose to face our fears and move forward. But when we let fear control us, it can lead to negative thoughts and even make us feel like we're failing. But you can remember that fear isn't permanent, and it's not as strong as it seems. You can take back your energy and focus on creating something beautiful and positive. Hey, I just wanted to let you know that the way to deal with fear isn't to run away from it or hide it. You've got to face it and understand that it's just a part of life. It's like when a hero goes down into a dragon's lair. We've all got things that scare us, and it's important to face those fears. That way, we can find the gems of wisdom that our traditions are meant to protect. There's a saying that a wise man named Juan Matos taught, The warrior on a quest for knowledge might stumble upon a natural foe. Fear is something that should be faced, not run away from. You have to be willing to take that step, even if it feels scary. That's what the teacher is telling the student, encouraging them to go with their heart, even if it's a little nervous. If the student follows this advice, Sarah, they'll find that there will be a time when their fear will go away. They'll be able to face their fears without using their first enemy, and in doing so, they'll gain clarity of mind, which will get rid of their fear. Here, we can see how the process works. It's clear that they need to keep going through their fear to get rid of it, and that fear will burn inside them. Don't give up, my friend. Keep going until that fire purifies you. You'll find clarity and strength in yourself. You start to drown in your dark lead, but then you have a realization. What should you do with the energy that's released when you face your fears? When you've faced and overcome your fears, you'll find a vibrant force within you. Before, you were trapped in your chains, but this force is your own power. Before it was hidden by panic, the ancients said that in the center of fear dwells the genius, the spirit of creativity. We can remember the poem here. In those moments when things seem a little dark, it's important to remember that there's always a way to wait without fear. Roman, a wise Persian mystical poet, had a really interesting perspective on fear. He said that when we feel afraid, it's like we're in a dark night of the soul. But, if we can face our fears and let them transform into knowledge, we can see the first rays of a new day. This is a beautiful example of how we can turn our worries into something positive. It's all part of our rich tradition, my friend. Mr. Tibetan shares that the yogi Milarepa was known for his long meditations in solitude. One day, as he returned to his cave, he found it had been invaded by horrible demons. These creatures embodied all their fears, with jaws and claws that represented fear itself, manifesting before their eyes. At first, Milarepa was scared and tried to scare himself away. But the demons remained unfazed. Then, in a heartening display of courage and spiritual strength, the wise one shifted their approach. They sat in meditation, gazing upon them with a kind and empathetic gaze. I was there, ready to be devoured. In that moment, Milarepa approached his head, offering it to the most fearsome demon without any hesitation. According to the legend, the great demon leaned down in a gesture of surrender. Before him, it all disappeared into the air, and for everyone else, it was like a beautiful dream. The fear, which had been so strong and real, slowly faded away as soon as Yoba stopped fighting it and fully accepted it, giving him even his own life. Far from destroying that acceptance, the radical terror transformed it into a compassionate power. Milarepa left that experience with a deep sense of peace and understanding, having discovered that fierce demons are just creations of his mind, and when he brought light into darkness with the power of consciousness, that energy was integrated instead of destroyed. We are taught beautiful stories like those about Milarepa, Don's instructions, Hawan, and the voices of philosophers and mystics. Deep fear can be transformed by facing it with the flaming sword of the will, hugging it close to our hearts. He is so kind and understanding. In the crucible of faith, he helps to transform the block into movement. He helps to expand contraction into expansion. He helps to turn the oppressive shadow into fuel for the creativity of Alma. He helps to free her from the ghosts that once victimized her, and he helps her to become the author of her own destiny. He helps to turn that stagnant energy into conscious action in art, in word, in decision, enlightened. This is the old process. Alchemy saves, coagulates, dissolves, and unites again. It dissolves fear in its most basic components, sensations, memory, thoughts. It frees it from your spell and then coagulates that new understanding by virtue of inner power. Throughout this trip of transmutation, a central metaphor is the alchemist who works. In your own personal laboratory, deep within the heart of your soul, there's been a gentle burn of introspection, like a fire that melts lead. As we've ventured into the realms of philosophy and esotericism, each exploration has added a bit more heat to that inner fire, kindling the flames of understanding. We've seen how the dance of duality can sometimes create fear, but also how unity can heal it, transforming fear into the courage to keep moving forward, even when the world seems to crumble around us. This journey has shown us that by facing our fears, we can find clarity, even when it feels like the world is collapsing around us. The story of this book is all about learning to see fear as a kind of teacher. In this big chapter, we're going to take a deep dive into the roots of that fear. And what we'll find is this amazing base for transformation. It's like the leaves of a plant, which, at the end of the growing cycle, are shed and then. The story of Abyss is like a warm hug on a cold night. It gently guides us to see our fears not as something to fear, but as a kind teacher. In this big chapter, we dive deep into the roots of that fear, and surprise, there's a beautiful foundation of can transform us. Just like how the leaves of a plant transform into gold when they are exposed to fire, our fears, when we face them with awareness and intention, don't just go away. Instead, they turn into a bright, shining force. This awakening brings a lot of clarity. We realize that the things we feared were actually doorways to our own hidden talents and strengths. This realization brings a sense of relief and freedom. And the best part, we find all of this in a single, breathtaking moment of understanding. What will be the result of this inner crossing? The adept will emerge from the crucible with the golden elixir in his hands, knowing that every shadow he has faced has fed his light. Fear has finally fulfilled its hidden purpose of making us grow, and it has dissolved. Chapter 12, Sacred Mores and Amplification Energy, the subtle plot of reality. It is woven with symbols from the arbors of the. Have you ever wondered what the essence of the divine and immutable might look like if it could be captured in glyphs and geometries? Consciousness humanity has tried to do just that. Those simple strokes in stone or paper, those vibrational bridges, energy condensations, and cultured resonators are like amplifiers of intention and demonstration. If you look at ancient Egypt, Mesopotamia, the temples of India, or the Hermetic codices, you'll see that the symbols were used as catalysts. In the beautiful tradition of esoteric knowledge, there's something truly special about energy stamps. They are like keys that open doors to worlds beyond our own. Geometry, in its closed form, is the language of the cosmos. The great Plato said in his Timea that the universe is built on the principle of geometric shapes, and that matter at its deepest level is a dance of forms and proportions. This idea wasn't just philosophical, it was something the ancients really believed. Geometry is such a cool way to channel forces that aren't even visible to the naked eye. Take the pentagram, for example. In schools, it was used as a protection shield. The Pythagoreans used it as a balance symbol between the elements and the manifestation of the microcosm in the macrocosm. In the Vedic tradition, the elantra was a M-shaped diagram that represented energy in its purest state. It was used in tantric rituals to bring abundance and light. And Metatron was another important figure in this tradition. In the beautiful and mystical tradition of Kabbalah, the cube symbolizes the very essence of creation. Its lines represent the fundamental vibrations that underpin the universe. It's truly incredible how these symbols hold such power. They have the remarkable ability to organize energy at its core. The universe, in its essence, is a symphony of vibrations. Matter, on the other hand, is just a low-frequency version of this energy, and thought is the most subtle and ethereal form of energy. In the beautiful and intricate language of the Kabbalah, the cube symbolizes the very structure of creation itself. Within its lines, we find the essence of all that is solid, platonic, and fundamental to the universe. This is why these symbols hold such incredible power. They have the ability to order energy in its essence. The universe is a symphony of vibrations, and matter is simply a form of energy that has been expressed at a lower frequency. Thought, on the other hand, is energy in its most subtle and ethereal form. When a symbol is crafted with care, it acts as a condenser of vibrations, an antenna that attunes our consciousness with its strength. It's fascinating to note that similar patterns appear in diverse cultures around the world. Take, for example, Horus's eye in Egypt and the third eye in Hinduism, or the flower of life in medieval temples and Hermetic manuscripts. These forms seem to represent an archetypal structure of the psyche and of. Have you ever thought about creating your own personal symbol? It's a really cool way to express yourself and connect with your intentions. This practice is something we see in the art of stealth within Magic of Chaos, where a desire is turned into a unique glyph and infused with energy and emotion to support your manifestation. But it's not just a new thing or even in older systems, symbols were personalized as a tool. Esoteric alchemists would mark their laboratories with emblems that reflected their unique path of transmutation. And Renaissance magicians. They designed glyphs too. Hey, if you're looking to tap into some deeper spiritual power, it's super important to connect with higher intelligences and shamans. These are like the guardians of our spiritual world, and they're there to help us create a symbol that represents our in connection with the divine. But here's the thing, before we can do that, we've got to connect with our own clarity. We've got to really think about what we want to achieve and then find the perfect words to express it. There's a cool traditional method that might help. It says to write down your desire, then cut it down to its most basic elements, leaving out the letters that are repeated and transforming the others. If you're interested in creating a harmonious design, one approach is to picture a symbol that just popped into your head while you were meditating. Once you've got that down, try to infuse it with energy by thinking about it over and over again, or by thinking about elements like fire or water. The symbol's power isn't in its form, but in the meaning and the energy that go with it. A talisman is just an object, but a simple stroke that's full of emotion and conviction can become a node of energy. As Ippas Levi said, sign is one. The meaning is another thing, but the soul of the sign is the meaning. Here's where it gets interesting: an empty drawing or a portal vibration. When we think about the impact that symbols have had on humanity, we can't ignore their ability to model realities. Empires sealed their destinies with banners and shields of weapons, and civilizations raised monuments with loaded forms of sarado. Even in the modern era, big corporations design logos as principles of attraction, esoteric, and subliminal. All this indicates that the well-being of, I totally get it. A symbol is like a mirror that reflects your intentions. When you work with symbols, especially ones that you've created yourself, it's important to remember that you're creating a frequency of resonance. Each time you use a symbol, it's like you're sending out a message to the universe, and it's coming back to you with a boost in energy. So, when you're working with symbols, whether they are old or brand new, just remember that you're doing something really powerful. A symbol is like a friendly reminder of your goals, a steady anchor to keep the vibration high, or a channel for energy to flow from. The key is to make sure the symbol is alive and has a soul. It's like a little vortex that gathers thoughts, emotions, and purpose. So, here's a thought: is the symbol a symbol is like a tool or an entity with its own consciousness. It's all about energy, and in a way, a psychic form acquires its own stealth, loaded with intention, and generates a presence in subtle reality. A meditated mental becomes a reflection of the cosmic order within the individual, a kind of alchemical seal. A symbol is like a little energy bundle, and it's like a psychic form that has its own special energy and intention. This makes a presence in a kind of subtle reality. When you meditate on it, it becomes a reflection of the cosmic order within you, like a little alchemical seal. When you put an inscribed symbol on an object, it can act as a transmitter of energy for the adept. This helps us understand why certain images have such a strong impact on people. Not only do they contain forms, but they also contain visions of those who have contemplated and strengthened them with their attention. The ancients understood that a single line could lock a world, and a well was like, when an object is inscribed, it becomes a transmitter of energy for the adept. This is why certain images have such a deep impact on those who observe them. Not only do they contain forms, but also visions of those who have contemplated and strengthened their attention. The ancients understood that a single line could lock a world. They also understood that a well-placed line could be the bridge between the visible and the invisible. Humanity has forgotten much of this knowledge by reducing symbols to mere decorations. However, the initiated still know that in each curve and angle lies an energy latent. As Peel said, the symbol is the key to the mystery. Who understands it includes the secret vibration of the ultimate universe. The deep comprehension of the serrated symbol returns us to an essential truth: we are the creators of our own reality. As the universe is built on geometric patterns, fundamental to our lives, hey, I totally get it. Your modeling is all about putting these principles into practice, and not just observing them. We are like architects, designing our own structure, our own vibrational map. If we can capture our essence in personal symbol, in a stamp that truly captures our intention, then we'll have built not just one sign, but a vibrational map towards our destination, the search engine you want. Amplify your energy, then alone. You just need one thing to create the sign appropriate to infuse with will and allow resonance. Work the rest is a matter of chapter. Action 13, Energy infusion in objects and spaces. Objects and spaces, these are inert entities, each with its own unique resonance and energy aura. Over time, these auras are influenced by the emotions and intentions placed upon them, especially in personal amulets. Even closed temples reflect the human experience of matter as more than just a passive recipient. Matter is a channel of programmable energy, a receptacle that can store, amplify, and project specific vibrations in the alchemical art of transmutation. I used to think that certain materials, like gold and silver, were more likely to contain energy. I thought that they were especially revered because of their frequency conducting ability. I thought that they didn't corrupt the stones and crystals formed in the earth. I used to think that the earth entrails have been used in countless traditions, like amplifiers and energy. I thought that the wood, in its connection with organic, was able to preserve subtle vibrations. I thought that fire and water became great transmutators of any impression imposed in the Hermetic tradition. I used to think that there was a need to work with the elements in their purest forms. Hey, I totally get it, your form can sometimes be tricky. But here's the cool part, it can actually hold the essence of intention really well. An object becomes a talisman when it's not just a piece of the physical world anymore. It becomes more like a bridge that connects us to the vibrational energy of being. And the cool thing is, the link isn't just with the material itself, but with the energy that's created. So, even something as simple as a ring, a key, or a stone you find on a walk can be turned into power nodes. The key is all in the infusion process. It's about infusing energy into an object with a specific intention. Then, you just print a frequency on the object, linking it to a particular purpose. The ancient grimoires were all about infusing things with emotion and attention. They had these really detailed rituals to keep objects in spring water clean and free from any previous influences. They'd expose them to the sun or the moon to align them with cosmic energies. They also recorded symbols and words of power to anchor the vibration. It's not just superstition, it's a real understanding that matter responds to the mind. As Paracelsus said, everything that exists is alive, and everything that is alive can be changed. But infusion energy is limitless. You can even transform small objects and laptops into temples. A home is more than just a place with walls and a roof, it's a living organism that vibrates with the energy of those who live there. In different traditions, the design of sanctuaries and places of power follow geometric principles to ensure that energy flows harmoniously. In the architecture of ancient Egypt, India, Kabbalah, and Chinese census, they understood that the materials and arrangement of objects in a space could alter its vibratory energy. The environment is so important. Beyond the structure, the physics of a place determine its energy load. The intention that a space is established to practice rituals of purification and anchoring becomes a point of pure energy. On the contrary, a place where thoughts are concentrated, chaotic, destructive emotions, or dissonant external influences can become a nucleus of stagnation. Vibrational techniques can raise the frequency of a space's energy. Energy cleaning is the first step, and it involves eliminating if you're feeling residual vibrations. You're not alone. There are so many things we can do to clear them up. You could try burning incense, a holy stick, or sage planter. You could also use Tibetan bowls, bells, or manas, or simply open doors and windows to let energy circulate freely. If you want to charge the space with intention, you could place objects of power, visualize light expanding in every corner, or meditate and recite decrees that permeate the environment, as determined by mystical orders. Esoteric practices. Have you ever heard of Serata circles? They are a beautiful example of this technique. They are special areas of power within a space that establish energy borders to protect and enhance the manifestation in ceremonial magic. You can create them by drawing circles and waiting on the ground. In Hinduism, mandalas are used as vibrational maps, and in medieval Christianity, cathedrals are built with golden proportions to serve as spiritual resonators. No matter where you are, the principle is the same: convert your space into a. We all know that a connection to our energy source is important, but what if we could make it a part of our daily lives? Anyone can transform their home into a place of vibratory power by incorporating significant elements, a conscious disposition of objects in the environment, and the practice of morning and nightly intentions to infuse space with vibration. All of these things contribute to making your home a center of manifestation. It's not just about aesthetics or material order, but the energy cultivated in a place of love. I'm so grateful for this home. It's a place where magic happens. Things and spaces feel more alive when we infuse them with energy. It's like alchemy, but modern and loving. We're taking the heavy stuff and turning it into something lighter and more vibrant. And in that process, we understand that the world around us is alive. Every thought, every feeling, and every action leaves a mark. So let's make our environment a place of joy and growth. You just need to understand this essential truth: where there's intention, there's power. Creation Chapter 14, Liberation and Surrender. In the demonstration, the manifestation is not about possession, but about liberation. When you understand this principle, you'll see that the power to create isn't found in obsession or control. It's found in the ability to release with faith. Absolute brings a result. Rigidity is how to hold water. With closed punches, it fades away. It becomes a mirage, unattainable. But who learns to? When you feel ready, let your wishes out into the world. This opens a channel so that the energy of the universe can flow freely and make your dreams come true. It's like planting seeds, and then watching them grow and take shape. But here's the catch: sometimes, our human minds, with their tendency to overthink, can get in the way. It's like we're living in a world of linear time and logic, where we believe that reality is shaped by our desires. And while that's often true, it's important to remember that what we want doesn't always happen the way we expect. Instead of pushing too hard, try focusing on harmonizing your vibrations. If you're feeling anxious about something, take a step back and let your energy flow naturally. Field, the frequency of vacuum the need and lack in your desire to really attract move away as the goalkeeper who is tense to the rope and the white fails the obsession for a specific result. I disagree with the precision of intention in Taoism. We talk about Bihui, the art of effortless action, the one that there will flows in perfect synchrony with nature without forcing anything. Nothing means passivity, but it's understanding that the river always finds its course without being pushed. A desire thrown into the universe without trust is like a seed unearthed time and again. The growth of virtue is stunted by impatience. But when you plant a seed and trust that it will blossom in its own time, you activate the law of synchronization. The ancient mystics knew this, and they used it in their rituals. In the Hermetic tradition, they taught that every decree should be accompanied by a phrase that indicates detachment. I'm so glad you're confident that you're doing everything according to the divine will. It's not about giving up and being stuck in one way of thinking. It's about recognizing that sometimes, our minds just can't always see the best path to take. In the Vedic tradition, they talk about Isvara, music, Pranidhana, architect, and that his times are perfect. It's like they are saying that something is already a reality in the quantum field. You don't need to look for signs of his ladder in alchemy, my friend. The liberation of a desire is the last phase of the process of transmutation. First, your intention is purified, and then it's time to ignite the fire of emotion. Emotion is then permeated with the appropriate vibration, and finally, you're left as one who has completed their training and is ready to fly. You don't need to follow many search engines to visualize with. Hey, friend, DS with Karen. Intensity and maintaining a high frequency can seem tricky. It's like they materialize, but the problem isn't in the energy emitted. It's more about our thoughts and how they influence our manifestation process. When we feel anxious, it can create blocks that stop the natural flow of creation. But remember, the universe is more into certainty than despair. And the person who succeeds isn't the one who repeats anxious thoughts, but the one who stays positive and confident. That's exactly what it's saying. It's going to continue on with his life, and he's going to do it with the assurance that whomever has asked is already on the way to being reborn. The demonstration is not an act of submission, but of mastery. It's about releasing with the same confidence that the sun has when it hides behind the horizon, knowing that it will inevitably come out again. So, what we can understand here is that the true proof of Sino is to prevent, but not to need immediately. It's so interesting to see how things come to life when we're totally open to it. It's like the energy just flows right through us, without any resistance. And when we learn to trust in our desires fully, it's like we become a magnet for making our dreams come true. It's like we're creating a clean path for the energy to flow easily, without any blocks. It's like we're an alchemist who's figured out the secret of true love. In the chapter 15 of Abundance, Language Secret of the Universe, we explore the intriguing phenomenon of synchronicity. Sometimes, these coincidences seem like mere happenstance, yet others feel like a quiet, internal voice, whispering truths that might seem illogical, but they are actually beautiful expressions of our connection with the world around us. Synchronicity isn't just a coincidence, it's a hidden language that connects our external experiences with our inner selves. By learning to listen to the universe through synchronicities, it's important to understand that existence isn't just a chaotic chain of events, but a living network where each event is connected to a greater intention. Carl Jung studied this phenomenon called convergent synchronicity, which is when external and internal events are connected without a clear cause and effect relationship. It's about those moments in life when we respond with precision, like when we think of someone who has not. You might find yourself suddenly getting a call from that same person, or maybe you've been having some internal doubts and conflicts. Then, out of the blue, you get a call from someone you didn't even know. It's like these coincidences aren't just random events, but actually part of a bigger plan that's connecting everything. It's like a dance that goes beyond the usual way things happen. And, you know, a lot of spiritual traditions have been talking about this for a long time. Psychology Modern: as soon as he starts to rediscover the principle of correspondence in secret, the above is down as it is. Inside it is outside. This suggests that the events of the physical world reflect the movements of the world interior. What the soul experiences in the deep finds echoes in reality, material, and vice versa. There are no isolated facts, my friend. Everything is part of the same structure, vibratory. In ancient China, they had this really interesting idea that thoughts, emotions, and intentions create patterns that eventually show up in our experiences. They called this the Oracle of Changes, and it was a book that tried to make sense of the seemingly random stuff in the world. The wise Taoists believed that reality was always changing, and that every little thing that happened had a deeper meaning. They thought that every situation had a secret message that we just needed to figure out. Throwing coins or stems of millennium to consult the first chin was a practice that the wise ones didn't believe brought answers from the object itself. Instead, they thought that the answers came from a universal energy field that aligned with the moment and intention of the consultant. They studied the first chin and thought that the synchronicity operated on him as a fundamental principle. They believed that the universe responds to human intention through signals that appear in the flow of existence. The idea that the universe speaks in symbols is not exclusive to Taoism or Hermeticism. In Sufism, spiritual teachers teach their disciples to be attentive to Isra, divine insinuations, signs that God sends to indicate the correct path. In the Kabbalah, the world material is considered a veil that hides deeper realities, and each event is a clue of the presence of the divine. In the Christian tradition, mystics talked about providence, which is basically God's guidance that we can feel in our lives, even when things seem random. But how can we spot these signs? Synchronicity doesn't happen in an obvious way. It's a subtle language that only some people can understand. It's like a repeating pattern, like a number that keeps showing up. You know how sometimes a word will pop up in a bunch of different conversations? Or how a symbol might keep showing up in your dreams? Or how a series of events might lead to something unexpected? Well, the key is to not get too caught up in searching for signals. Instead, just let them come up naturally, and be open to noticing the repeating numbers. They are one of the most common ways that synchronicity works its magic. Have you ever wondered about the hidden meanings in numbers? Numerology is one way that ancient traditions have always attributed special significance to numbers. The Pythagoreans believed that each figure in the sequence 11 and 11 has a specific vibration. They thought that 11 was like a door to a new dimension of spiritual alignment. They believed that seeing this number was a sign that our conscience was opening up new possibilities. Other numerical sequences, like 333 or 777, are also seen as messages. These numbers can be a confirmation or a warning. The important thing is not to get too caught up in the rigid interpretation of each number. What's more important is the internal sensation that each number generates in those who perceive it beyond the numbers. Signals can be presented in the form of animals, objects, or situations. Repetitive in many cultures, shamanic traditions consider the appearance of certain animals to be messages from spirit. For example, the appearance of the wolf is associated with force, interior, and leadership in daily life. The deer is associated with kindness and intuition. These associations can be repeated with a specific animal, either in physical form or in images. Have you ever thought about how dreams and coincidences can be signs of energy trying to communicate with us? It's like they manifest through unexpected encounters and conversations. Those moments when someone says exactly what we need to hear, or when a book comes along at just the right time with a phrase that answers a question we've been thinking about quietly, aren't they amazing? It's like these coincidences are signs from a higher power, helping us find our way. One of the best ways to strengthen your connection with the field of universal is to keep a record of the synchronicities that happen in your life. By writing down the coincidences that stand out to you, you can start to notice patterns and understand the message that the universe is sending you. Over time, you'll see that synchronicities are actually part of a continuous dialogue between your consciousness and reality. It's important to remember that synchronicities can be a confirmation that you're on the right path, but they can also be a warning, a gentle nudge to make a change, or even a call to pay attention. Hey, let's pay attention to the messages our energy is sending. Not every signal is a good sign. Some of them are like little hints about what needs to change. The key is to learn to read the hidden connections between life experiences. When we start to notice these little coincidences, the world starts to feel more and more alive. Things that seem random, like synchronicities, start to feel like they are part of a bigger plan. It's like the world goes from being a big, dull place to a place full of possibilities. These signals aren't just random things, they are like little reminders of a bigger, more beautiful order that's always there, just below the surface. When we learn to see these signals and follow our instincts, we don't just walk towards our goals, we dance towards them. I am so glad you're here, and I'm excited to show you the road the universe has laid out for you. I'm here to listen to the chapter 16, and I'm eager to hear your thoughts on the energy that shapes our world and the influence we have on those around us. I'm curious, do you ever feel limited in the words you choose or the actions you take? It's fascinating to think that beyond what we can see, there's a subtle current flowing from each of us, affecting those around us without the need for physical contact or verbal communication. This energy can be felt even before someone enters a room, and it's so interesting to witness. A vibration that has the power to transform the atmosphere of a space, alter the emotional state of others, and even shape the future of events. The old traditions spiritual already knew about the field energy of an individual. Not only does this energy define us, but it also interacts with the energy of the collective in Hermetic schools. He taught that intention was a force capable of projecting beyond the body and affecting the surrounding reality. The power of intention, when it is sustained and clear, creates a magnetic field that reorganizes the energy flow of the environment and those who inhabit it. Modern science has picked up on this idea. It's totally normal for this knowledge to make you feel a bit timid. The experiments in quantum mechanics have shown that just observing something can influence how particles behave. This suggests that our thoughts have a powerful effect on our world, maybe even beyond the microfield. Everyone can feel the energy of a person around them. If you've ever felt a space feel different when someone is around, or if you've met someone who radiates calm energy without saying a word, then you know how powerful this is. Proximity can sometimes make us feel a bit uneasy. In the Buddhist tradition, they say that the mind of an enlightened soul can raise the vibration of a whole community. This idea is found in the mystical practices of different cultures, where there are stories of spiritual masters who have been able to change the energy of a community. In Sufism, they believe that the presence of a wali, a saint, or a wise person is like a lighthouse that shines a light on all those who come near them. In Taoism, monks are trained to harmonize air. Connect with the energy of nature and find harmony with your surroundings. You don't have to become a spiritual master to have a positive impact on a space or group. All you need is to understand how your own vibration is influenced by the energy in a place. When someone enters with positive intentions, it creates a ripple effect that fills the atmosphere. If you think peace, serenity, or love, those thoughts begin to fill the space. The same is true for negative thoughts. Fear and hopelessness can spread easily, too. Our wise elders, the shamans, had a deep understanding of this. They used special practices to cleanse and protect the energy spaces in their communities. In many cultures, they lit incenses, sang songs, or performed dances to gently shift the energy of a place. But the most powerful tool of all was consciousness itself. Our thoughts have the incredible ability to dissolve dense energies and replace them with more positive frequencies. In everyday life, we have the remarkable capacity to influence our environment. It's in the simple interactions we have with others. A leader who stays centered amidst chaos can calm an entire group without even trying. Hey, if you're feeling down and need a little boost, try reaching out to a healer. It's amazing how just putting out positive energy can make someone's day better. Even if you're feeling a bit down, your vibes can still affect others. Emotions are a big part of this. The energy you put out there isn't just from your thoughts, but also from the feelings you're holding. So, if you're feeling grateful or compassionate, your vibe can be way stronger than someone who's just trying to act calm or loving. Energy is a funny thing, it's hard to put your finger on. When you understand that your thoughts and actions have the power to transform the world, it's amazing how you feel responsible for every thought you have and every emotion you feel. Every single one of them contributes to the energy of the collective. So when you elevate your vibration, you're also raising the vibration of the world. It's like an act of spiritual selfishness, but in a good way. It's a quiet way of helping to create huge waves of change. In many esoteric traditions, they talk about guardians of energy. These are people whose presence is capable of sustaining balance in moments of crises. Don't always come from big, public figures or leaders. Sometimes, they are regular people who, without making a big deal out of it, keep things peaceful and positive, and that's something that affects everyone around them. In a world where fear and uncertainty can spread so easily, it's really amazing how some people have learned to keep a positive and stable vibe going, even when things around them are in chaos. But it's not something that just happens automatically. To consciously create this kind of energy, you need to develop a kind of inner discipline. It's all about being clear about what you want to achieve. If you're not clear about your intentions, your energy can get all mixed up and scattered. It's important to remember that it can lose strength. The practice of full care is really helpful in maintaining the vibration in equilibrium, allowing the energy to influence more consistently and effectively. It's a simple technique, but it's incredibly powerful. All you have to do is visualize the energy expanding from your own center towards the environment. People have been using this practice for centuries in various traditions. For example, Tibetan monks practice a meditation in which they transform the dense energy of the collective suffering into exhaling. In Western esoteric practices, they teach you how to create a field of influence through intention. When you're in a state of sustained vibration, you're allowing the energy to permeate your reality. This practice brings life back to your surroundings. You're no longer just a receiver of external energies, but a conscious emitter of frequencies that you can use to modify the world. You're not just passive anymore, reacting to your environment. Instead, you're actively impacting it. This brings up an important question: what type of energy do you want to project into the world? How do you want to influence others? The answer to these questions shapes the type of reality you contribute to creating, because each thought you have has the power to create. Every emotion, every intention, every thought and every action we have is like a piece of a puzzle, building up the energy tissue of our existence. In Chapter 17, we explore how the way we show our wealth reflects the energy we have inside. Our interior wealth is more than just a bunch of material things we have. It's a way of showing the energy that flows through us and through the world. Money is just a tangible way of showing the exchange energy, a medium by which our inner vibration can be seen in the world around us. It's important to remember that the belief that wealth is a privilege reserved for a few is just an illusion, kept alive by a certain way of thinking. Abundance is the natural state of the universe. When you learn to resonate with your frequency, you become a channel through which resources flow effortlessly. For centuries, old traditions and mystical teachings have taught us that money is a form of energy. Like all energy, it responds to your intention, vibration, and alignment. The Kabbalah mentions the principle of correspondence, as the world can be a confusing place, but there's one idea that makes it a little easier to understand. It's all about how what's on the inside is connected to what's on the outside. It's like a mirror, showing us what we're thinking and feeling. If we're struggling with scarcity beliefs, the world might reflect that. But, in the beautiful teachings of Hermeticism, there's a way to see the bigger picture. The energy circuit is like a bridge, connecting us to the flow of wealth and abundance in the universe. Everything in the universe works through energy exchanges. Solar energy gives its light, the earth receives and nourishes it. Water flows and renews. Personal prosperity is part of this natural cycle. When you understand that wealth is a continuous flow of energy, you can learn to receive without guilt and give without fear. This allows you to maintain an open channel to the abundance in your life. However, most of us have been conditioned by ideas that block this flow. We all know that energy exchanges are the key to everything in life. When you understand this, you can see that giving and receiving are both essential parts of being human. When you feel guilty or afraid to receive, You block the flow of energy. This is why so many of us have a hard time being open to abundance. We've been taught that money is hard to come by and that having it is bad. These beliefs make it hard to manifest wealth. But, as the old Vedic texts say, your thoughts are the first step to creating your reality. If you don't transform your thoughts, you can't manifest them in the physical world. This is the fundamental problem of those who struggle. The key to attracting abundance lies in your energy relationship with money. If you are seen as a limited resource, then that scarcity will show up in your life. If fear, uncertainty, or guilt arise, it's a sign of unconscious patterns. But, if you see money as a moving energy symbol, as an extension of the field itself, then wealth becomes a natural consequence of your internal state. There are so many ways to get in tune with the energy of abundance. One of the oldest and most beautiful is gratitude. When you're grateful for what you have, even if it seems small, it sends out a signal that attracts more of the same. In esoteric teachings, it's said that the energy of gratitude is like a beautiful vibration that draws more of the same kind of goodness into your life. The universe is like a big, grateful heart. It's always expanding and responding to our positive thoughts and feelings. There's one more thing to remember, though, the paradox of detachment. If you're someone who's always worried about money, it can be hard to attract it. Your energy might feel a bit anxious and desperate. But, if you can trust that money will come to you easily, you can keep that positive vibe going and attract wealth with ease. Hey, friend, have you ever wondered how certain civilizations were able to achieve such incredible things? It's all thanks to a simple idea: certainty. The ancient Egyptians, for example, used symbols of abundance in their rituals and temples. They believed that images of the goddess Ma represented the harmony of the universe and the balance in all areas of life, including wealth. And in Taoism, they taught that when your Chi vital energy is in harmony with the laws of the universe, abundance flows. In the beautiful tradition of Kabbalah, the tree of life shows us that wealth comes from combining spiritual principles with matter. The power of intention is really important, too. Aid a thought with conviction that thought is like an energy field that starts to shape reality around those who believe in it. People who have studied how thought affects matter have seen that intention is a big part of it. Hey, just wanted to let you know that there's a chance this could influence the results. From what I've heard, Masaru's experiments show that the molecular structure of water can change depending on the intention behind it. It's pretty amazing to think that a simple intention can actually affect matter. And on top of that, the actions align with the energy of abundance are another essential aspect. But remember, having a prosperous life isn't just about having the right resources. Your mindset is so important. When you think about money, do you feel afraid or limited? It's important to remember that money doesn't just appear out of thin air. It needs to fit well with your thoughts, emotions, and actions. When you feel good and confident, you're more likely to take chances and make the most of opportunities. You're not focused on saving money to feel safe, but instead, you're making money work for you. This is how wealth works in the real world. I'm not saying you should be aimless when it comes to money. What I'm saying is, try to live in harmony with the feeling of abundance. If you can do that, you'll be a truly rich person. It's not about how much you have, but about feeling fulfilled with what you have. And it's about believing that the resources are endless. That's the real key to prosperity. It's about having the confidence that abundance is a state of being, not just a number of things you possess. In the end, true wealth comes from within. It's all about recognizing the feelings you have when you feel worthy of something. You know it when you feel it, and it's as easy as that. You attract people to you without even trying. You might be afraid of it, but you don't even realize it. And when you understand that the universe is endless, you learn to receive without feeling guilty and to give without worrying. Because in the energy game, abundance isn't a destination, it's a path that you take with every thought, every emotion, and every choice you make. 18 Energy relationships and attractions. In the vast and intricate web of the universe, each one of us is like a little vibrational node, each emitting our own unique frequency. This invisible energy, this magnetic field that attracts or repels others, is not a matter of chance. Our relationships, they are like these resonating frequencies where similar things find harmony and discordant things clash. But, they can also harmonize. Every soul has its own unique vibration, and it's so beautiful to see how we all find connections with others. Since the beginning of time, Spiritual teachings have told us that love, friendship, and all our relationships come from a deeper, more spiritual place. Vedic texts talk about how we're all channels for a powerful energy that connects us all. Over the course of many lifetimes, spiritual teachings have told us that love, friendship, and all kinds of relationships are reflections of the energy that flows through each of us. Vedic texts describe these energies as channels of the vital energy that flows through us, determining not only our status, but also the quality of relationships that we have. In Kabbalah, it is said that each soul has a root frequency that seeks to complement. In the world, material relationships are nothing more than reflections of the vibrational state of each individual. If a person experiences conflict, transformation is not found in others, but in the vibration itself. The vibration principle is all about the idea that nothing is really still, everything moves and vibrates. This means that everything I know and experience in the world around me is actually the manifestation of frequencies that have aligned with the energy field surrounding each person. In some traditions, this field is called an aura, but it's not just passive. It's a dynamic thing that absorbs, projects, and intertwines with the energies of others. This field can get stronger or weaker depending on the thoughts, emotions, and states we keep inside. When you're feeling at peace on the inside, it's like you're giving off a special kind of energy that draws in others who are on the same wavelength. But, when you're holding on to negative thoughts, like insecurity, resentment, or fear, it's like you're sending out a different kind of vibration. And, well, it's like you're attracting experiences and people who are on a similar energy frequency. That's why some of us find ourselves in toxic or conflicting relationships over and over. It's like our energy is stuck in that same frequency. But, it's not about punishment or being stuck in a certain situation. It's more like a signal that's trying to tell you something. The energy personal is a beautiful thing, and it just needs a little bit of TLC in the esoteric world. There are some really lovely practices that can raise your frequency and bring you in touch with the perfect partner for you. It's all about meditation, but with a special intention that really focuses on the field. In some old texts, they suggest visualizing a light dorada wrapping your aura like a cleansing blanket. And in Suffolkian teachings, they use mantras or words that are repeated to gently shift your heart's frequency and connect you with some really awesome states of being. Emotions are so important for tuning into our relationships, aren't they? It's been said that when our hearts and minds are in sync, it's like we're sending out a stronger, more powerful electromagnetic signal. That's what attracts similar experiences to us. The EM Institute has discovered that our hearts create an electromagnetic field that's measurable and can influence the emotions of those around us. So, the quality of the vibrational energy in a relationship isn't just about the words we use or the actions we take, but also about the energy field that each person brings. Hey, we know it can be tough to make new connections and feel like we're on the same page with others. But don't worry, we're here to help. It's all about tuning into our inner world and finding the right vibe to make relationships that vibe with us. It's time to let go of any negative energy, emotional baggage, and limits that keep us stuck. Let's clear out the old patterns and start fresh. Another cool thing about relationships is that they are a two-way street. In Taoism, they say that every time we interact with someone, it's like we're all giving and taking energy. When a relationship is in balance, it's like a beautiful dance. Energy flows smoothly and freely, creating a sense of harmony and connection. But sometimes, things get a little out of balance, and instead of giving and taking, there's just friction. And that's when things can get tough. The most genuine and lasting connections aren't built on effort, manipulation, or need. They are born from a natural resonance, where two beings vibrate in harmony. In Buddhist philosophy, they talk about this beautiful concept of harmonious interdependence. It's like a symphony of relationships, where everyone flows together without any attachment. Hey, I totally get it, we're all different, and that's totally cool. Each one of us is like our own little universe, sharing our energy with the world. One really helpful thing to try is something called conscious observation. It's like a super powerful tool that helps us understand the kind of energy we're putting out there, and the kind of relationships we're attracting. It's like a practice of taking a look at our current connections and seeing what patterns keep popping up. If you notice that your relationships tend to be a bit distant, filled with betrayal, or a bit rocky, it might be a sign that there are some things inside you that need a little love and attention. Hey, it's always a good sign when you feel like you're on the same page with someone. It's like you're both on the same page, you know. In the Gnostic Gospels, they say that the kingdom is inside, which makes it seem like everything you see, including relationships, is just a reflection of who you are deep down. So, the way people attract each other isn't just random. It's like a vibe that's out there, waiting for you to find it. And the best part is, it's not about putting in a lot of effort. It's more like a natural connection that happens when you're on the same page inside. Transformation is such a beautiful thing. When you understand that your personal energy is your true strength, you start to see that what you put out into the world is what you attract. It's like the universe is a big dance floor, and what connects with you is a reflection of your own frequency. In chapter 19, it talks about how healing energy is like an invisible thread that ties all of us together. When we're under the weather, it's like a blockage in our energy. Every physical health issue and emotional struggle is a sign that something's off in our energy flow. The Hermetic tradition has always said that the world is a mirror image of itself. What's on the inside is also what's on the outside. This suggests that discomfort doesn't originate in the body itself, but rather at a more subtle level where energy breaks down before turning into matter. Cultures, ancestors. The ancient healers of Egypt, the shamans of America, and the yogis of India and China understood that humans are more than just flesh and bone. They're a field of energy that's in constant interaction with the forces of the cosmos. Healing is all about restoring the flow of energy in your body. When you're dealing with a disease, it's like your body's way of telling you something's off. It's like a message in a bottle, you know. Like, there are these thoughts and emotions that you haven't dealt with, and they are kind of stuck in your body. The idea in the Vedic texts is that your body has these energy channels, called nadis, that help move your prana, or life force energy, around. But when there's a blockage in one of these channels, it can lead to symptoms like fatigue, pain, and tension. And if we don't pay attention to these signs, they can turn into full-on diseases. It's like your body's way of telling you, hey, something's off here, and I need your attention. In Chinese medicine, it's important that the energy that keeps us going, called force vital, can flow freely through the meridians. When there's a block in this network, it can lead to imbalances or excesses that, over time, affect our organs. That's why practices like acupuncture, raised to the power of 3N, and Chinese herbal medicine aren't just about fighting symptoms, but about restoring the natural vibratory harmony of our being. A disease isn't seen as a punishment or random event, but rather as a reflection of energy patterns that need to be addressed. Louis' work on the relationship between emotions is all about helping us correct these imbalances and promote well-being. The body is like a mirror, showing us what's going on inside. For example, when we have a sore throat, it might be a sign that we're having trouble expressing what we're feeling. And when we're dealing with digestive issues, it could be a way of telling us that we're having a hard time processing life's experiences. Energy healing is all about recognizing that our mind, emotions, and spirit are all part of our body. It's important to remember that just treating the physical symptoms isn't enough. We also need to understand the deeper meaning behind what's going on. By releasing energy that's stuck, we can restore our connection with our inner source of energy and well-being. One of the most powerful forms of energy healing is the gentle art of hands-on therapy. Since ancient times, hands have been seen as energy channels with the power to heal. In the beautiful tradition of esoteric Christianity, it is said that Jesus healed simply by transmitting the vibration of healing. In the gentle practice of Reiki, Japanese energy healing teaches that hands can direct the universal energy to block points in the body, restoring balance and harmony. Another essential approach is creative visualization, a practice that has been used by healers and mystics throughout the ages. History. The wonderful Neville Goddard has been teaching people for a long time about the power of the imagination. He says that when we train our minds to see clearly, we can actually change the material reality around us. He's taught people to use mental visualization to imagine light and health, and he's had great success. He's also taught people to imagine the perfect health of their cells and body, and he's had a lot of success with that, too. He's even taught people about physical sound vibrations, which have a deep impact on healing energy. The ancient Egyptians knew that certain frequencies could restore the body's balance. They were raised in so many harmonics to induce states of regeneration. In Tibetan tradition, the quartz and the main bowels close like lom. The Man and Padme Hun have been used for centuries to harmonize the energy of being. Water is another key element in healing vibrations in alchemy. Think about the vehicle of the transmutation. Masaru Emoto's water memory studies show that words, intentions, and emotions can modify the molecular structure of the water. This means that the water can be scheduled with healing frequencies through statements, prayers, or symbols. Sacred self-employment is possible when you understand that the disease doesn't define you. It's a chance to align your energy with your true self. The key is not to fear the disease, but to understand it and use it as a catalyst for positive change. Acceptance is the first step in any healing process. As they say in the Hermetic tradition, what resists persists. In other words, if you can change your mindset, you can change your reality. It's so exciting to see how this can change the body. Studies in epigenetics have shown us that our thoughts and emotions can actually activate or deactivate genes. This means that healing is something each of us has the power to do. Deep down, we all have the ability to regenerate. When energy flows freely, disease can't take hold. Our body is like a beautiful instrument, designed for harmony and expansion. Energy healing is something we can all do. It's not a miraculous act or a phenomenon exclusive to a few. It's the return to the essence, the awakening of vital flow that's always present. In the final analysis, all healing is a frequency reconfiguration. When you heal yourself, remember that your body is an extension of the field energy, not a separate entity. When your mind and spirit heal, it's a return to the original vibration, a reminder that disease does not define you. It's just a temporary veil on the road to all. Chapter 20, Energy War and Protection. Handling energy flow between human beings is an exchange. It's an invisible dance of frequencies in which energy is absorbed and emits vibrations. However, in this field of subtle interactions, not all influences are neutral or all connections are harmonious. There are conscious beings who feed on the energy of others, draining the vitality of those who do not. Vibratory shield. This energy absorption can show up in many ways. You might feel exhausted after being around certain people, or like you're being manipulated or controlled. Since ancient times, spiritual traditions have talked about the existence of vampires, energy individuals or entities that don't have a stable internal energy source and seek to feed off others. These empty shells, structures lacking their own light, are associated with the cabal. In the teachings of Buddhism, there's this concept of absorbing the vital force of your environment to help you survive. It's like being in a cycle of hungry beings that just can't seem to find enough energy. And this idea of an energy war isn't just some mystical thought, it's something you can feel in your everyday life. Sometimes, you might feel a bit overwhelmed when you're in a place where you're having long talks with people, and it's like you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. Conscience is all about those dynamics, and it's totally normal when they are not on purpose. Sometimes, people have injuries or feelings that aren't fully processed. They might not even realize they are missing that connection to their own inner strength. So, they try to help others feel their best. This energy imbalance can show up in different ways. Sometimes, it's a quiet influence, like a feeling of being drained for no clear reason. Other times, it might be more obvious, like emotional manipulation where someone tries to control. It's important to understand that there are different types of attacks that are used to control emotions and extract strength. Some of these attacks are more sophisticated, and they are used to dominate someone. They work by weakening the will of the person they are targeting. The first step in protecting yourself against energy manipulation is learning about the field itself. If you're not aware of your own energy, you're more vulnerable to external influences. That's why introspection and strengthening your will are essential. Knowledge is really powerful stuff. It creates this internal stability field that helps keep out negative forces from others. The ancient wise men were really smart. They had all sorts of great techniques to protect the energy staff in Hermetic schools. He talked about the body of light, which is like a field vibratory that you can strengthen through concentration practices and visualization. In Hinduism, the aura concept and the balance of chakras are really important for maintaining integrity. In shamanic traditions, they use energy power stamps. They are represented in symbols and rituals that help you connect with the source. Ways to keep energy from being absorbed. Energy is like a vibratory shield. You can create this shield by visualizing a sphere of light. This sphere of light is like a protector, an ethereal envelope that acts as a barrier to influences from outside. The key is not in resistance or fear, but in having the conviction that the energy itself is inviolable. In ancient grimoires, words and thoughts are also tools for protection. They find verbal formulas used to shield the field energy, such as the Gayatri in Hinduism. In the Christian tradition, invocations like Psalm 91 or power phrases in ceremonial magic have been used. Throughout history, people have worked hard to maintain a strong vibration and shield themselves from outside forces. They've done this by anchoring their personal sovereignty and recognizing their own energy. It's important to remember that we're all affected by external forces in our spiritual alchemy. But the good news is that our internal light acts as a shield, protecting us from the more powerful shadows. And even though our surroundings can accumulate influences, we can still create a space that's filled with our own positive energy. This is why old cultures performed periodic cleansing of their spaces. Today, we still use incense, closed spaces, and the sounds of purification to help us feel safe and comfortable. Some people still use protective herbs like salvia, Palo Santo, and romero to help clear away negative energy at home. In tradition, there's talk about some forces that can drain your energy, but there are also forces that can strengthen you and connect you with positive frequencies. One of the best things you can do is surround yourself with people whose energy is in harmony with yours. If you can, try to be around people who are grateful and joyful. These are great ways to keep your energy in good shape. It's important to remember that a person who vibrates at a high frequency isn't easily influenced. If you want to stay safe and protect your energy, it's good to know about energy war. Hey, I just wanted to let you know that there's no need to worry. This energy is all about connection and choice. It's a field that we can all tap into, and it's up to us to decide how to use it. The key is to not get caught up in paranoia or to lock ourselves away from the world. Instead, we can learn to recognize the dynamics and vibrations around us and take charge of our own energy field. This is the real deal when it comes to protection. It's not about building walls around ourselves, but about shining so brightly that no shadow can penetrate a being who's in sync with their purest essence. That's when we become a lighthouse of energy. When we're inside the domain of the energy war, we shouldn't be trying to fight external forces. Hey, just a friendly reminder that the light of consciousness is like your personal shield, protecting you from anything negative. Remember chapter 21, which talks about instant manifestation and how time can be a bit of an illusion. The reality we experience isn't bound by the traditional idea of time. It's more about the frequency with which we are vibrating in the moment. The demonstration isn't some gradual process, it's an immediate response to our sustained vibration. It's like a flash of insight that happens in an instant. What might feel like days, months, or even years to materialize is just your mind playing tricks because of the way the universe is structured. Everything in existence is already present in potentiality. For centuries, esoteric traditions have taught us that time is not an absolute constant, but rather a perception generated by the human mind. The Kybalion beautifully expresses that everything is mind, suggesting that external reality is a direct reflection of consciousness, which is present in quantum physics. Observation of subatomic particles has demonstrated that time and space are not fixed barriers, but rather elements that respond to the perception of the observer. Expressing no requires waiting, but accessing it is possible. The point where your heart's desire and your reality are in perfect harmony. Here's the key. Remember that time is just a way our minds organize experiences, but it doesn't actually affect the reality of what's happening. A desire is already alive in a possible world from the moment it's born, and how it shows up in your life depends completely on how much it resonates with your own being. If you're used to thinking that progress happens in stages, it might feel like there's a gap between what you want and what you're actually experiencing. Now, let's talk about the oculus. This thought creates a gap between the present and the materialization of desire, causing the manifestation to seem distant. But, if you can see the present as the only moment of power, you can bring what was normally perceived as distant right now. In some old texts, they say that what's above is what's below, which means that the material world is like a mirror of the inner world when you have a desire. Open your heart and mind to the present, and you'll find a world of possibilities. In the beautiful words of Hermetic texts, the idea is that what is above is what is down. This suggests that the material world is like a mirror of the inner world. When a desire is born with complete certainty, without a doubt or mental interference, It's like a snapshot of what's possible. The universe is always moving, but it's our mind that sometimes makes us feel like there's a delay. The secret to immediate manifestation is to fully embrace the present. When you experience the truth of this statement, it's like you're in a world where time doesn't exist. You know, there's this idea that if you really believe something, it'll happen right away. It's like taking a snapshot of the present. There's no wait, just this instant manifestation. It's all about being in the moment and not letting your mind get in the way. There are these mystical experiences where people say they can change their circumstances in an instant, not because time has passed, but because they've matched the exact vibration of what they want. So, when it comes to advanced manifestation practices, the key is to let go of any doubt or expectation for the future. The future doesn't exist outside of our minds, and when we project a desire in the present, we're actually taking ourselves away from the now. Energy follows attention, so if we focus on the future, we'll keep seeing it in our lives. There are so many stories and spiritual teachers out there who can share their insights on this. Have you ever wondered how some people seem to be able to create physical objects or changes in an instant? It's not magic, but a result of the mind and vibration. When we eliminate the wait for reality, it responds in a snapshot in everyday practice. Instant manifestation can be trained by eliminating feelings. Have you ever wondered how some people seem to effortlessly create physical objects or changes in an instant? It's not magic, but a beautiful example of how our minds and thoughts can influence reality. By embracing the idea that reality is a snapshot of our everyday experiences, we can learn to manifest our desires instantly. It's like training our brains to eliminate the need to wait for things to happen. When we feel lack, it reinforces the absence of what we desire. So, the key is to generate a state of absolute certainty, as if our dreams are already present, without needing external evidence. The ancient alchemists sought to transform matter, but true transmutation occurs in our consciousness. When you're in tune with your true self, time doesn't feel like a barrier. It becomes a beautiful channel for manifestation. It's not time itself that limits what you can create, but your beliefs about it. Those who have experienced immediate manifestations know that it wasn't time that made it happen. It was the complete alignment with your reality. The question isn't about how long it takes to manifest something, but how fast your mind can accept that time is already real. It's more than just a human perception. Manifestation is a reflection of your alignment and vibrational state. When you understand this on a deep level, reality becomes something you can truly be in charge of. The concept of linear time becomes a beautiful expression of the energy domain and our connection with the source. The domain of energy isn't just about manipulating the subtle forces of the universe, but also about gently letting go of our ego and becoming a pure channel of the fountain primordial. In ancient traditions, this is considered the highest degree of mastery. It's not about collecting knowledge about energy techniques, but rather, it's about transcending the need to control energy and allowing the source's flow to pass through us without interference. The true mastery lies in our ability to fully integrate with the universal energy, allowing our individuality to gently dissolve and become one with the source. The current is still pure of the creation. This beautiful principle has been expressed in many different ways throughout history and across different spiritual traditions. In Vedic texts, it's seen as the union with Brahman, or the alignment with the Tao, like in Taoism. In Hermetic teachings, it's described as the fusion with the mind. Universal isn't about trying to gain power, but rather about surrender. Total energy doesn't need to be forced or directed. The current is pure of the creation. This beautiful principle has been expressed in Vedic texts, such as union with Brahman, in Taoism, as alignment with the Tao, and in Hermetic teachings, such as fusion with the mind. Universal is not a process of acquisition of power, but of surrender. Total energy does not need to be forced or directed. Then, when the being is aligned with the source, everything occurs naturally, without effort. Creation ceases to be a fight. Man's wishes are no longer needs, and he becomes a spontaneous expression of the flow divine. The initiates who have reached this level have described a state in which there is no separate intention of the flow universal there. The being is in harmony with the source, and everything happens naturally and effortlessly. It's like creation is a dance, where the struggle to manifest is no longer necessary. Instead, it becomes a beautiful expression of a divine flow. Those who have reached this level often talk about a state where there's no separate intention for the flow of the universe. There's no need to try to change things or modify reality because the individual becomes reality. The same is true here. The concepts of shortage and lack are irrelevant because everything I know needs to flow perfectly at the right time, without intervention. In Gnostic texts, I've found the idea that being illuminated no longer means fighting with energy, but becoming the energy itself. I totally get it. There's no need to try and change things or mess with reality because when you become one with it, that's reality. It's like the whole scarcity thing, where everything I know needs to flow perfectly at the right time, without any intervention. I've read in some Gnostic texts that being enlightened means you don't have to fight with the energy, but you can just let it flow through you perfectly. In the Corpus Hermeticum, a mentor says that being wise isn't about forcing your will on the universe, but about emptying your own so that the will can be expressed without any distortions. It's like reaching the final level of the ethical energy domain, where you have absolute confidence in the flow of existence without energy moves through us with absolute perfection. In Corpus Hermeticum, Hermes Trismegisto teaches that the wise person is not the one who imposes their will on the universe, but rather the one who empties so that the will can be expressed without distortions. This state is the final level of the ethical energy domain. It's a place of absolute confidence in the flow of existence without resistance or expectations. Here, the demonstration becomes a natural way of living, effortlessly arising without intention. It's a big mistake to seek to control energy by desiring to appropriate and mold it according to your preferences. Energy is inseparable. The true manifestation occurs when it stops manipulating. When you understand that there is no difference between the manifester and the manifestation, you access pure creation. Hey, have you ever thought about how our decisions don't really depend on our ego or our mind? It's pretty amazing how sometimes things just fall into place, and life surprises us with all these beautiful synchronicities. It's like the way time changes how we perceive things, making the fight disappear and the outside world become this fluid reflection of our expanded awareness. And the last secret of the domain is that energy is all about surrender. When we stop fighting and let our consciousness flow with the universal energy, it's like we become a channel for creation. It's like we're no longer the creator, but instead, we're just a vessel through which creation can express itself in its infinite form.